James Imaging Systems, a 100% locally owned and managed Wisconsin business technology company. The benefit?
The benefit is having reliable equipment, having a reliable way to print documents.
James Imaging Systems, local service you just can't get anywhere else.
The customer service is great, and if an issue, when it rarely arises, they're very quick to fix it.
That's another benefit for the VFW.
It's just one less thing that we need to worry about as an organization.
James Imaging Systems, AI-driven workflow automation, security enhancements, and digital transformation. Call 608-221-3457 or visit jamesimaging.com.
Hey, it's Kelly Sheffield, Wisconsin Badgers volleyball head coach. You're listening to 100.5 ESPN, WTLX, Monona, Madison, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
What is up, Madison? I'm Hunter Vaughn. Your Sports Center update is brought to you by Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison, home of smoke-free slots and the highest payout percentage in the area. Ho-Chunk Gaming Madison, more spins, more wins, more fun. Christian Yelich and the Milwaukee Brewers are having a ton of fun as Yelich is on fire. Yesterday, he was named the NL Player of the Week for his performance in the past week, and after returning to the lineup last night, he extended his hitting streak to 9 games with a bomb of epic proportion.
3-2 to Yelich. Breaking ball hammered deep into center field. Friedel's going back, turning at the warning track, watching it sail at the wall. It's way out of here. Man, Christian Yelich just keeps on doing it. That was a bomb of epic proportions off the batter's eye in center field in Cincinnati.
Milwaukee would go on to win 3-2 over the Reds. The Brew Crew is back at it tonight against Cincinnati. Coverage of that game will start at 5:34. First pitch scheduled for 6:10. Freddie Peralta will be on the mound for the Brew Crew, and you can hear that game right here on 100.5 ESPN.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com. 3-time Wisconsin Sports Writer of the Year, Jason Wilde.
There aren't any Jasons 12 and under. That's a dead name.
Packers Hall of Famer, Mark Tauscher.
How many kids do you hear, hey, Marky? It might be as almost to the point of Ruth.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio.
You love that name so much, you don't even go by it.
On 100.5 ESPN.
If you call me Mark, I'm fine. I like my name. I like my name a lot.
The ESPN Wisconsin app.
Wilde And Tausch.
And ESPN Madison on YouTube.
It's Wilde And Tausch, isn't it?
This is Wilde And Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Tuesday edition. We have to have a conversation about Tausch's guy edition. The Evan Cohen scheduled to appear edition. And the Mr. Four-Person, have you reached a verdict edition of Wilde and Tausch on 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee, 100.5 ESPN Madison, 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam, ESPNWisconsin.com, the ESPN app, your Alexa smart speaker, streaming live video, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and of course everything you need on the ESPN Wisconsin app, which is available now in the Apple and Android app stores. I'm Chase Wilde in Green Bay. Jesse Nelson is in the jury deliberation room. Hunter Vaughn is in the Everlight Solar ESPN Madison studios. And from his undisclosed location, he is the Packers Hall of Famer. He knows football. He knows ball. What does he think? He is Mark Tauscher. Tausch, good morning. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. I saw that Orlovsky deal yesterday, and I don't know exactly what he was saying. Like, if you don't know
We don't
ball,
know. People don't know ball.
What does that mean, though? Like, is he saying that Jordan Love is a – because, in essence, what I think he's saying is Jordan Love's a top 4 quarterback in the league because his QBR is good. Listen, man, there's 100 ways to evaluate a quarterback. You know, the big one, in my opinion, is – there's what?
That's a song by Simon and Garfunkel. 50 ways to leave your lover, 100 ways to evaluate the court. Never. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have interrupted. Please continue.
No, I don't get, like, what is that?
You've never heard that song?
No.
Get on the key, Lee, and set yourself free.
Oh, yeah.
Hop on the bus, Gus. Don't need to discuss much. Just jump. No? Okay.
All right. So, yeah, I have heard that song. I have no idea how that fits with anything about Orlovsky, but I guess the situation and how we overanalyze things, obviously, and Jordan Love has been overanalyzed, but I don't know how anybody can sit here with a straight face. And, look, Dan watches a lot more film than I ever want to, so I want to give him credit for that. I like Dan. I'm sure when you take your summer break, we will try to get him on the program, but if I'm looking at this thing realistically, now I know there are a lot of drops, and we went into a big discussion point yesterday about leadership and how a quarterback is. Mm-hmm. There is nobody that's going to sit here and tell me what we saw at the end of the season in 23 is remotely or is even really adjacent to what we saw last year. It was a more consistent amount of greatness that we saw, and that does not mean Jordan Love stunk last year, and I know LaFleur got into the narrative that he regressed or that he was not as consistent as we'd have hoped to have seen a quarterback in his second year. Not someone that we paid $55 million to and have big expectations. And now part of that, is it that Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers preceded him? Absolutely. That's, hey, welcome to Titletown, baby. That's how this works. Is it fair? No, probably not. But it is. And Jordan Love last season, and I ask Dan, I ask anybody that watches a lot of film, tell me a game I can clip on and say, man, he was sharp from start to finish. Man, this offense hummed from start to finish. Because I can certainly look at a lot of games at the back end of that 23 season and say that. Kansas City, I thought he was sharp from jump. Detroit, I thought he was sharp from the jump. I can't say that about it all. There is a process. I understand all of that. But when you make those claims and you basically say people are idiots, which, again, I don't have a problem with. You put in the work and you think people are speaking out of pocket, which, by the way, plenty of people do, I don't mind that. But I just look at it. I can't sit here as a guy that likes Jordan Love and wants him to be successful. I'm not going to just go along with a narrative because it's easy and it's the path of least resistance. Guys are getting to the point now where, and I think you started, I'm not going to put this all on you, but you and Domofsky and guys, you guys just didn't want to take the heat. This is not a flame. This is just literally observing what's going on and saying what you think. And what I think is Jordan Love was good last year, but he was not great, and he was not consistent. And that shouldn't be some, oh, you're an idiot take. That's just the reality of what I saw, and I think what a lot of Packer fans saw.
So the tweet, for those of you that are unaware, we discussed this on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy this morning as well. And before I read it, as I said yesterday, after Tausch left us to go play golf. Dan Orlovsky knows a million times more about the quarterback position than I do. I would never dispute that. I also would say that there are ways that you can disagree with people's opinions, because just because he played the position and watches film doesn't mean that his interpretation is necessarily right either. People have disagreements in opinions all the time watching the same stuff. I would look at it, as Tausch said, at what he did during the final 8 games of the regular season of his first year as a starter, and what he did in that playoff game against the Cowboys was magnificent. Now, did he play great in the Giants game when they lost to DeVito? No, but he didn't play terrible. They didn't lose the game because of him. And that is really, really good quarterback play. And I'm not saying that to have progressed, he needed to play at that level for 17 games or however many he played due to the injuries. Do I take into account his drops that he dealt with from his receivers? Yes. Do I take into account his injuries? Yes. But again, he completed 70% of his passes, 18 touchdowns against 1 interception in the final 8 games of 2023, and then he was even better against the Cowboys. And there was not a single game last year where you looked and said, that's the guy that I saw last year. Now, how much of that is injuries? How much of that is drops? How much of that is Matt LaFleur's scheme? How much of that is the conversation that we had that I kept saying, hey, now defensive coordinators have an entire year's worth of film on him. They're going to have a better idea how to defend him. All those things factor in. But he was not as consistently good. His last 4 games, the Saints game and the 3 losses, including the playoff game, to end the year, he completed 60% of his passes. He threw 3 picks against Philly. In his last 2 playoff games, his last 5 playoff quarters, he's thrown 5 interceptions. And guess what? You hear me say this all the time. Growth is not linear. That doesn't mean he didn't grow from those less than stellar performances. But to suggest that he progressed in terms of his performance and his production, I don't buy that. And if you want to get into a semantics debate about, well, he didn't regress, he just didn't progress the way you would have wanted him to in year 2 as a starter, I'm on board with that if you want to play that game. But
Jason, what season was a better season for Jordan Love, 2023 or 2024?
2023.
No question.
I mean, look, the first half of the season he was figuring things out. He's a first-year starter. But he played like Aaron blanking Rodgers. His numbers...
Hunter, pull that. I don't know if any of our other shows or anyone has pulled, because... Listen, you're right about regressing, and regressing is too strong of a word, and words matter. I get all that. But do you think Packer fans would say, and do you think Orlovsky would say, that Jordan Love made the jump that we hoped he would last season? And you can say factor injuries and drops. Those are realities of what his situation is. But you know who doesn't really care? The stats. Like, there are reasons for things to happen, but again, you're out there and you judge seasons on the production. It's how it works. Does that mean that Jordan Love can't rip-roar through and be an MVP this season? Absolutely not. I think he can be. I think he is a talented thrower of the football. He's smart. He does a lot of things really well. But that doesn't mean we have to sit here and say, oh, he was better last year than he was the year before, because if you're looking at the full picture, I would say he was a better quarterback last season in 2025 or 2024, I guess it would be, because the first half of that year. But the back end of that year was big boy quarterbacking, and there wasn't a time last year that we did a post-game show or came on here and did a show, and I was like, man, that was big boy quarterbacking by Jordan. There were games you said, man, he made some really nice throws. The Houston Texans game where he whittled that ball through and made a beautiful play. There were games that he played, did some really awesome stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But there were never any times that we were like, woo-hoo-hoo. It just wasn't. And there was in the year before. And, again, there are reasons for that. But on the whole, he was a better quarterback from start to finish last season. But he was not, if you're looking at expectations and what we saw at the back end, just look at the back ends of last season compared to the season where we ended up getting beat in San Francisco. By the way, Jordan Love played an awesome 3 quarters, and then he stunk in the 4th.
Mm-hmm.
That also was part of this, and that was the process. So that's why I think to just completely say you're an idiot and you don't know jack about quarterback play, I mean, I would disagree vehemently with Dan on that.
Anyone who says Jordan Love regressed last year doesn't look at QB play properly. Thanks. Have an awesome day.
Dan did also tweet again today about Jordan Love and quarterbacks. So thought this one was interesting as well. With the 5 QBs finished top 10 in QBR in each of the last 2 seasons. And it's Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Jordan Love, and Brock Purdy.
Yeah. Jordan Love's been a good quarterback. No doubt about it. He's been good. He was not consistent last year. He just wasn't. And you can find QBR stats, and you can always find stats that will fit a narrative. I don't think either of us are saying Jordan was not a good quarterback last year. He was fine. But was he as good as he was at the back end of the I guess I don't even want to say good. I just want to say, was he as consistent in how things went? And the answer is no, he wasn't. And that is part of growing up in the NFL and understanding what your team needs and understanding that when it's a sloppy game against Detroit, I don't need, the screen pass. You just, there's things you still got to figure out, and that doesn't make it bad.
So here's the issue. And I need Barry Alvarez talking about Ben Brust here. Because who gives a blank how we view last season?
Who the hell gives a whether Ben Brust is great?
What matters is what he does this season. And it is an incredibly pivotal season for him. If he is the quarterback that we think he is capable of, and apparently Dan Orlovsky believes he already is, then he needs to play at that level in year 3. That is undeniable. No one can dispute that. And if Josh Jacobs, with his bruising running style, suffers an injury during the course of the season and misses some time, and he's not... I'm sorry?
No, I'm saying if that happens, he's got to elevate.
Right.
Jordan Love's got to elevate because you have to... That's the other thing that you factor in here. He didn't have... Now, Aaron Jones was a dog at the end, and I argued him and the O-line play improving is why Jordan Love played as well as he did.
Yes, you did. And you were right.
And last year, obviously the O-line play wasn't as good. It just,
nope.
I think a lot of us underestimated some of that, but obviously Brian Gutekunst and Matt LaFleur didn't feel that way. But you still had a dog having a great season in the running game help you. Now, the receiving corps did not help Jordan Love at all last year. That's why there's new sheriffs in town and new blood that are going to try to correct some of that stuff and push these other guys to be better. But Jordan Love had he had the tools to elevate and get better and be kind of the guy that we all thought. And I don't know if we could say that happened when you factor in Josh Jacobs gave you a lot more consistent production than what Aaron Jones did the season prior.
All right. Again, before we hear from, because this debate was on Unsportsmanlike this morning as well. If you listen to the show every day, like Michael in the YouTube comments, I don't think we ever started the fire on regression being the conversation. I think what the fire that we started, or that I started, was asking Jordan Love last week, and asking Matt LaFleur last week, he had the line about my physical specimenness, is what more does Jordan Love have to do for you guys to get to where you want to go? And Matt LaFleur obfuscated in his answer. Because he doesn't want, as you pointed out, he doesn't want to put additional pressure on his quarterback. That, to me, is the conversation here. Now, am I irritated that Dan Orlovsky said what he did? I am. I'm not going to pretend I'm not. But for those that think, I mean, first of all, none of us here are rooting against Jordan Love. None of us here think he's a bad quarterback. None of us here think he's not capable of elevating his game this season. If he plays like we saw him play in the second half of 2023, it's going to be a very good year for him, and it's going to be a really, really good year for the Green Bay Packers. And maybe we are talking about how, hey, just like Aaron Rodgers in 2010, Jordan Love took his team to the Super Bowl in his third year as the starter. Okay? So those are all possibilities. But again, it feels to me, and you like to talk, you use the line that Eleanor says, let me feel my feelings. There seem to be a lot of people that just they want to encase Jordan Love in this glass encasement so we don't hurt his feelings and say bad things about him. I don't even think this is harsh criticism. He did not take a major leap in year 2, whether it was injuries, wide receiver drops, whatever you want to call it. He didn't make that jump. He was not significantly better. Did he regress? I don't know. But he didn't progress the way they wanted him to. And Matt LaFleur doesn't have to stand up there and say, yeah, our quarterback, he didn't do good enough last year. He needs to be better next year. He's not going to do that to his guy. He's not going to throw him under the bus. But we try to have honest conversations here. And if you're not capable of that, and you think that, we're just upset that Dan Orlovsky hurt our feelings, then you're in the wrong spot. But we appreciate you listening anyway. Speaking of listening, you should listen to Tausch tell you about Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Well, it's time to upgrade your windows and doors. And you know what? You don't want to spend a fortune. Well, Pella is the answer. The best in the industry, and has a product line for every budget. Right now, no interest and no payments. That means nothing for 2 full years. We'll have a really good idea where Jordan Love is at in 2 years, and you won't have to pay a dime down on anything, interest and or payments. So if the plan is to wait, well, guess what? You can get it now and wait to start making payments for up to those 2 years. Certain restrictions do apply. This offer ends on June 30th. Set your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
We'll hear from the unsportsmanlike crew before we hear from Evan Cohen. That's all next. It's Wilde And Tausch.
This is Wilde And Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
And now for the Pella play-by-play, here's Jeff Levering.
Thanks, Gina Della from Pella. What a beautiful day to have new windows and doors installed.
Every day is beautiful because Pella installs year-round during all seasons.
It's so hard to guess that next pitch. The customizations seem endless.
And it doesn't have to be super expensive. Pella has a product line for every budget.
And if it is time for a major upgrade, rest easy by scoring no interest and no payments for up to 2 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply on 6/30/2025.
Hey, Wisconsin, it's Mark Tauscher, and if you know me, you know I love our home teams, like the Brewers and UW Credit Union. And now, when you open a rewards checking account at any UW Credit Union branch by June 6th, you get 2 Brewers tickets for an upcoming game. Plus, enjoy all the best rewards like early payday and cash back on credit card purchases. Visit any UW Credit Union branch or uwcu.org for details. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions do apply.
We ask and you answer. Tune in to Jim, Matt, and Molly every weekday 4 to 6 and follow at Jim, Matt, Molly on X to vote in daily poll questions presented by Siding Unlimited. Trust Siding Unlimited with your next window and door project.
Every event tells a story, from the first impression to the final moments. Have someone guide your guests through every chapter the way you want the story told. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With a strong presence, great voices, and an award-winning team, trust us to guide, direct, and inform your guests through all the different chapters of the day. For fun, memorable entertainment for any event, please visit us at celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Play where the Badgers play and enjoy a round at University Ridge Golf Course, the official course of the University of Wisconsin. It's easy to see why University Ridge is consistently rated one of the best public courses in Wisconsin, winning awards every year since 1992. Whether it's a tournament, corporate event, or just a golf outing with family and friends, University Ridge Golf Course will make sure you have an enjoyable golf experience from start to finish. Book your tee time today at universityridge.com. That's universityridge.com.
Memorial Day savings are here at Brothers Maine. Shop unbeatable deals on top brands like GE Appliances, Cafe, Hotpoint, and Monogram. Plus, enjoy expert support and free local delivery. Visit us today and feel like family at Brothers Maine.
Since 1956, Holman Lindsay Paints has been making paint in Wisconsin for Wisconsin. Because of their commitment to making great paint for Wisconsinites, Holman Lindsay has grown over the years to 26 locations in this great state. Headquarters in Sun Prairie with a state-of-the-art facility, Holman Lindsay has the paint you need to make your job better. From do-it-yourself to professional, Holman Lindsay has paint for everyone. Visit one of their local locations today in Madison, Sun Prairie, Middleton, and Janesville.
The biggest games.
Back-to-back state championships. Still going, lowers his shoulder into the end zone. Touchdown, Wanakee.
The most compelling stories.
Where are you going to be playing basketball next year?
I'm proud and excited to announce that I'll be going to the University of Charleston.
We are now joined by the executive director of the WIAA, Stephanie Hauser.
The area's best high school sports coverage is Zimbrick Honda's presentation of Prep Mania.
Madison School and Community Recreation's For Friends golf outing is Wednesday, July 23rd at the Oaks Golf Course. Hey, it's Jesse Nelson. New this year is the Laid Back Links Golf Clinic, an instructional golf clinic for beginners who would like to improve their golf game. Taught by the Oaks professional golf staff, this group lesson includes dinner and drinks, plus a chance to win prizes in the raffle and silent auction. Head to birdease.com/MSCR for more information and to register today. That's BIRDEASE.com/MSCR.
Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app. Customizable just to you. Find the ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores today.
50 ways to leave your lover. You just slip out the back, Jack. Make a new plan, Stan. You don't need to be coy, Roy. Just get yourself free. Hop on the bus, Gus. You don't need to discuss much. Just drop off the key, leave, and get yourself.
Well, this made it all the way to unsportsmanlike this morning, and we will talk to Evan Cohen as we always do on Tuesdays.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I got up and played some early pickle this morning, and I would have thought unsportsmanlike is basically becoming there's some ESPN Wisconsin
flair
vibe to that show. They start the show with Aaron Rodgers in Pittsburgh and whether or not Pittsburgh should tell him to blank off, and then they get into Jordan Love. The Jordan Love convo. That's the first two blocks of Unsportsmanlike at 5 a.m. this morning.
So all they needed to do was talk about whether soap cleaned itself and pickleball, and they'd had our show with different people. So the debate, and again, we're using this as a jumping off point for the conversation. I don't give a blank about whether you want to say he regressed or didn't progress as much as you'd like or was bothered by injuries or his wide receiver. I had Jim in the YouTube comments yesterday saying that the wide receiver group is dog crap, which he used a different word than crap.
Who said that?
Jim in the ESPN Madison YouTube. Look,
I thought it was
okay. Not Jim Rutledge. There's all kinds of factors that play into performance. Matt LaFleur always says it's not all on the quarterback. He's always trying to prop up his quarterback. He did it with Rodgers too. He never allowed people to just blame it all on his quarterback. He's great. Mm-hmm. And by the way, Matt LaFleur is part of this equation too, right? When he said late in the season that we have to win our one-on-ones and get open, and he sounded like Mike McCarthy. It was that and the sloppiness that stuck out to me of things he said. Because the whole idea behind his scheme is to scheme people open. And if that wasn't happening and you were relying on guys winning their one-on-ones, that's a problem too. So,
well, a little play action from under center to help.
There's a thought.
Play action from under center to help.
No doubt. So, again, this is a bigger picture conversation. It's not about the word regressed. I'm not interested in just fixating on that word.
Yeah, Hunter put the poll in the field, which, Hunter, great job.
Thank you.
The stats definitely lean towards 23. The eye test.
Well, he missed 3 games, Tausch. And, of course, his production's not going to be higher. That's what LaFleur said.
I understand that he missed 3 games. But
I did, too.
I think this is going to end up being a Canyon type of deal. After I saw the stats, I think we're going to be in the 90 percentile. And then when you start looking at that, and listen, man, I understand that not everybody watches the film and breaks everything down. And there were a lot of drops, and Jordan made a lot of plays. But that back end of that season, and with the expectations that you deal with on both sides of it, the rookie, basically his rookie campaign compared to his second year, you just expect a little bit more. And Jordan Love was better. Stat-wise, and I think eye test-wise, 2023 than he was last year. And that doesn't mean he stinks. That doesn't mean he's not going to be great. I thought last year was a solid year for him. Solid. It was not great. And you should be able to say that without taking shards. Yeah, whatever you want to put. It's not. You can critique and not be a dink. I think that's what we're doing here.
That was criticism of your guy, right? That's because he was a dink yesterday.
I have no problem. Yeah, he could have his belief, and he can say it he can shout it from the rooftops. Doesn't mean he's right.
All right, I want to play these 2 clips because I want to ask Evan Cohen what he thought when this back and forth occurred. So this morning on Unsportsmanlike, which you can hear across ESPN Wisconsin, it's on 5 to 9 Central Time on ESPN Radio nationally, had this conversation. First, let's hear from our buddy Chris Canty and his view of Jordan Love's inconsistency.
It's too inconsistent. Jordan Love doesn't show up for a third of the season, and that's across 2 years. When I'm paying a guy $55 million a year, that is problematic. He is set up for success. He's got the head coach. He's got the offensive line in front of him. The Green Bay Packers went out and spent a bunch of money on Josh Jacobs last year in the offseason. This offseason, they went out and did something that they hadn't done in 20 years, which is draft a wide receiver in the first round. Last time they did that was Javon Walker in 2002. They have set this man up for success. Jordan Love needs to figure out how to be more of a steady hand for this team, because when you're paying a guy that kind of money, he's going to have to help the team overcome the adversity that it faces throughout the course of a 17-game regular season. And too often, Jordan Love wasn't the answer for him when other things were going wrong with the team.
Okay, so that's Chris Canty's position. Now, I would like to add, I don't know about you, I don't ever bring up his salary. I just look at that as that's what young, up-and-coming, good to very good, not sure how good they're going to be quarterbacks cost. That's the cost of doing business now. So I never bring it up. Do I have a blind spot on that? Should that be part of the equation? Because I don't think it should be.
Yes, it's part of the equation.
Okay.
Is the CEO that's getting paid monster money with stock options more responsible for the company's growth and success than the janitor? Now, the janitor's got a job to do, and you got to get it done.
Who's the janitor in this? So who's the janitor?
I'm not going to get into a janitor. Could be a backup left tackle.
Sean Ryan.
And you have a role to fill. It's just like getting drafted first round compared to the 7th round. Money is you have to. The expectations are you're getting paid a certain way, even though that is the going rate. You get paid that, you're taking up a big chunk of cap. You need to be a baller. You need to be somebody that does elevate your team. So, yes, I don't have any problem.
Okay.
Just like when you're on a rookie deal, you're going to be, oh, he's got all this, like Brock Purdy. No, you got all this help. You got all these guys. Now he's getting big boy money too. He's going to have to elevate because he isn't going to have Debo, and he might not have his left tackle, and McCaffrey's beaten up. That's the deal. That's what you sign up for. And by the way, everybody will sign up for it.
Okay. Then sometimes criticism follows, right? If that's part of your equation as well. Because when the company's stock tanks, no one's blaming the janitor for that. It's about the CEO, if we're looking at it from the reverse angle, right? Then there was Michelle Smallman, our resident Packers fan, recent convert. And here was her part of the argument on Unsportsmanlike.
I think that the notion that Jordan Love regressed is based on the way he ended the season prior. And by that, I mean that final 8-game stretch. He had 18 touchdowns, 1 interception. And then we all remember they went into Dallas and absolutely destroyed the Dallas Cowboys in the playoffs and went toe-to-toe with San Francisco. So based on the way that Jordan Love ended the season and into the playoffs, we all thought he could be in the MVP conversation next year. And that obviously didn't happen when after that first game, he sprained his MCL. And even when he came back, he was still dealing with the residue from that. So if you look at it, you could say, well, we expected him to be so much better and take this huge step forward the next year, and he didn't. And that's underwhelming. And they were one and done in the playoffs to the eventual Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. However, he did win 2 more games than he did the year prior. And he was battling that injury all season long, which really lent itself to that inconsistency that we saw. Does he need to be better next year? Absolutely. But I don't think it's cause to ring the alarms when it comes to a big Jordan Love regression last season.
All right. Briefly, quarterback wins
No
are not
alarm
stats.
bells. No alarm bells are ringing. And by the way, if you're doing that, Malik Willis got 3 of those wins.
I was just thank you.
But there are no bells being rung. Like, that's not what this is. It's just evaluating and saying, you know what, Jordan needs to be more consistent. I don't want to get into he needs to be better. He needs to be more consistent in 25 than he was in 24. And anybody that wants to argue, Jordan Love would not argue with that. Matt LaFleur might. Jordan Love ain't arguing. Ask Jordan Love, hey, what was your best game last year? What do you think your best game was from snap 1 to snap 70? I'd be curious what it was.
I don't think he's among the players that are talking to us today. I'm hoping that Zach Tom is among them because I've really been looking forward to talking to him and a few others. But as of now, I don't know.
That's odd. I don't have any problem criticizing putting his job up on the block. But you can't say anything bad about Jordan Love?
Yeah.
I find that odd.
I find that odd as well. All right, we need to get moving here. We need to talk to Evan Cohen. I need to remind you, Associated Bank has been with us from the beginning. And I couldn't be more proud that they have stuck with us through all soon to be 9 years, our 9-year anniversary coming up very quickly. But that's because they're loyal, and I'm loyal to them, and it's because of their great customer service. It's not because of Packers checking, although if you're a Packers fan, you'd love that. It's not because of Badgers checking. It's not because of Brewers checking, although they have all those things. It's because of their great customer service. Early pay. Get access to your direct deposit up to 2 days early. Credit monitoring to make sure your score is where you need it to be so you can have that lending power. And, of course, fraud protection. I experienced that they were looking out for me from the jump, made sure that I didn't run into any problems that way. So check out AssociatedBank.com to find out more. Evan Cohen of Unsportsmanlike joins us next. It's Wilde And Tausch.
The Milwaukee Brewers, the Cincinnati Reds.
Churio launches one out to left. This is carrying back, and it is gone. Jackson Churio goes deep.
Tonight on 100.5 ESPN.
Mark Tauscher here to tell you a little bit more about Everlight Solar. We all know that electricity costs are on the rise. That's why you need to talk to my friends over at Everlight Solar. Their local team here in Madison is here to keep it simple. From your no-cost consultation to solar panel installation, the team at Everlight Solar will be with you every step of the way. Not only will they help you save money, but by switching to solar, you're also helping save the planet. Everlight Solar, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. Check them out at everlightsolar.com.
Ben Brust here to tell you about Zimbrick European. They're Mercedes, Audi, Porsche, and certified pre-owned. But the best part is I've been working with them since 2018, and the evolution has been a 2-door, a 4-door, and now it's time for an SUV. My life has changed, and it's changed with Zimbrick European. Being a dad has made it really important to have the comfort and the safety that the SUV will bring me. Again, Zimbrick European off the belt line at Rimrock Road. Of course, I found the sexiest car on the lot. Check them out.
Listen to Madison Money Guy every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. on 100.5 ESPN and ESPNWisconsin.com.
I like to refer to inflation as the silent killer. It's an invisible risk. It's just the idea that things get more expensive over time. You're going to need milk and eggs when you're in your early 60s and when you're in your early 80s. You're going to get a loaf of bread, and it's going to be more expensive 20 years from now.
Christian Finfrock is the Madison Money Guy. Call him today at 208-1800.
Tournament host Steve Stricker joins a star-studded group of PGA Tour champions at the American Family Insurance Championship. Catch the action June 6th through the 8th with an exciting team competition and a new tournament home at TPC, Wisconsin. This year's AmFam Champ concert features Megan Maroney with special guest Clint Black on Friday, June 6th at Bree Stevens Field. All proceeds support the Steve Stricker American Family Insurance Foundation and American Family Children's Hospital. Get your tickets today at amfamchampionship.com.
The ESPN Madison Open presented by Coors Light is back. On Monday, August 4th, the ESPN Madison crew is packing their bags and teeing off at TPC, Wisconsin for a day on the links. This year's Open is benefiting Mentoring Positives, a nonprofit based right here in Madison dedicated to uplifting youth and families through mentoring, athletics, and youth entrepreneurship. The ESPN Madison Open is also brought to you by Ridgetop Exteriors, Starion Bank, Celebrations Entertainment, The Bogey Factory, Bruner Realty, and Hush Blackwell.
GRB Academy is baseball for the serious player. Over the past 15 years, GRB has been Wisconsin's top destination for player development and advancement, including over 468 college commitments and 27 MLB draft picks. Their facility in Windsor is the home of GRB Rays baseball and features over 52,000 square feet of elite baseball training. Tryouts for the 2026 summer season begin July 22nd. Find full training programs and register now at grbacademy.com.
Madison's financial challenges need a Dane County-based bank. Starion Bank is a full-service community bank that delivers quality big bank services with a local approach. We are proud to be there for any budding entrepreneur or small businesses, helping them exceed their financial goals from banking to lending to cash management. Visit a banker at one of our convenient branches in Middleton, Monona, or Sun Prairie. Starion Bank, taking you farther.
Greg Scalzo here for Buck and Honeys. Congratulations to the perennial Best of Madison Award winner by the folks at Madison Magazine. Meet me at Buck and Honeys to celebrate Wisconsin hospitality. Whether you're enjoying the view on the Yahara River in Monona, exploring Wanakee, visiting the OG in Sun Prairie, or checking out the new location in Mount Horeb, you can enjoy the Buck and Honeys experience in a neighborhood near you. Serving lunch and dinner 7 days a week with brunch every Saturday and Sunday. I'll see you at Buck and Honeys.
Alexander burying a three. The Indiana Pacers versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. The finals. Coverage of Game 1 begins Thursday at 7:30 Eastern on ESPN Radio and on ABC. Presented by Indeed.
I'm throwing caution. What's it gonna be? Tonight the winds of change are blowing wild and free. If I don't get out of this town, I just might be the one who finally burns.
You know what that music means? Means he won't be joining Tausch at Summerfest to see the Killers live at the AmFam Amphitheater. But he will be joining us right now on Wilde And Tausch. It is Evan Cohen from Unsportsmanlike. Evan, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, guys. How are you?
Oh, wow.
We finally.
This is the best.
We finally.
I'd say this is the best Evan sounded in years.
We finally upgraded our guest.
Let's see. You've always wanted Smalls over me, so say hi.
Hi, guys. How you doing?
And you've always wondered why Rob, our social and digital guy, has never been on with you. So, Rob, hola.
How was the dentist, Rob?
How was the dentist?
Oh, I haven't gone yet. T-minus 2.5 hours. I'm contemplating the outfit right now. They did give me a TV show to watch. while I'm getting my work done, and I chose the deadliest catch.
Rob, how much conversation do you have with the dentist when you go in?
I don't know, but I think I'm going to try to record some of it.
By the way, I'm standing next to Rob. He needs to go to the dentist.
Always looking for content.
Wow.
What a good teammate, though. Why are you all together?
Smalls,
You're usually,
on the other hand.
aren't you usually driving to your gated community when you talk to us?
Well, it's not gated, but it's a nice area. Because we were all talking on the corner here, and I don't know. I figured I'd say, do you guys want to go on with Wilde And Tausch? And they said no, and I said I'll pay you, and they said yes. So.
Oh,
that's not true. They love us.
All right, they got to go. Go ahead.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Thanks a lot. I love that. That was fun. Evan, Tausch pointed out that Unsportsmanlike this morning had a distinctly Wilde And Tausch Wisconsin feel with the Rodgers discussion followed by the Love discussion. We played Michelle and Canty's takes on Jordan Love. As you were sitting there and they were giving their opinions, what was your thought about where Jordan Love is at? Because it sure feels to me like Dan Orlovsky and many others are hung up on a specific word, and that is regression.
Yeah. So here's the thing, Jason, I'm a little confused about. Wait, is Rob telling me I smell? Because that's not me. Sorry, we're bright garbage. Here's the thing I was very confused about, because you need to help me on timeline here. This has become a story over the last 24 hours, and then I went to go do some homework on it last night. This happened Friday, didn't it?
Yes, Love was asked.
Comments?
Love was asked about taking a step back, and it was one of the rare times that I had moved on to Josh Jacobs, so I had asked my questions and gone elsewhere, but I watched the video. It's one of the few times I've seen him be prickly in response to a question. And then I had asked LaFleur earlier, what more do you need from your quarterback in his third year as the starter for you guys to get to where you want to go? And he had a good line about his injuries and how it takes a while to recover unless you're a physical specimen like me, pointing at me. But he kind of deflected, and he never actually answered what more they need from Jordan Love. And so I think that was the genesis of this. But, I don't know why. I can't explain the lag time.
Yeah, so here's what I would compare it to. I think this is why that we have the Jordan Love debate. Tell me if you think this makes any sense. I don't know that there's anyone, when he got his contract, that said, boy, the Packers, what a terrible move. I think it was pretty obvious to give Jordan Love that deal. I think everything we've seen from Jordan Love off the field, and I know very little, but I'm just taking in what the public is, the public perception is, he seems wonderful, right, off the field. On the field, he has shown tremendous signs of greatness. But then you ask the question, like, is he a top 10 quarterback? Has he done enough where you can even eliminate the idea of regression? And that's where it's like, it's almost, think about Wilde And Tausch year one. Top 10 show? No, of course not. They haven't done much, right? They just started, like, kind of a couple years in, whatever. But it's like, all right, everybody knows they're going to be great. But at that moment, they hadn't been great for long enough, right? Versus now, 8, 9 years, whatever it is, on the show. I don't know that anyone believes that Jordan Love has regressed to a point where you wouldn't think he'll be a top 10 quarterback in this league. Period. Next sentence. Is he a top 10 quarterback? Probably not, but everyone assumes he will be. So we could debate regression or not, no regression. He's just in that gray area of we all think he's going to do it, but hasn't actually done it enough. Is that fair?
I think it's very fair, and I think the argument that I've been making for weeks is that this is a pivotal year for him. We're going to find out just how good can he be this year, and I think we're going to find out that he's a really good but not a Hall of Fame quarterback. I think that's where he will ultimately land. And that doesn't mean you can't win a Super Bowl with him. Doesn't mean he's not going to be a Packers Hall of Famer. Doesn't mean he's not going to be a Pro Bowler.
Why do you think he's not going to be? Why do you think he's so young? Why would you make that statement?
Which one, the Hall of Fame one you're saying, Tausch?
Yeah. By the way, let's not make this sound like that's some incredible slight on him.
Well, as a Green Bay Packer quarterback,
Jason, that's the point. It's when you see. It's so weird. Most people say, "Hey, don't compare them to all the peers around the league." In Jordan Love's case, being compared to his peers is much easier than being compared to his predecessors.
Mm-hmm.
You're 100% right about that.
You know, it's like.
But Jason, I'm just curious because is it completion percent? Like, what is it? Because he has proven he has the big boy arm. He makes the big boy throws. Can he do it consistently?
Yeah,
is the question I have.
I don't think he's as accurate. I don't think he's as accurate with his ball placement. And you'll have to ask Dan Orlovsky if I'm right or wrong on that.
Well, you're wrong.
Now I have to ask him, or like?
Well, no.
Yeah,
I mean, if you see
Dan
him,
and see that.
you can ask him.
Yeah,
But-
ask him.
I was texting with him this morning about this, but I didn't exactly go there. What a humble, terrible bride that was. I think here's what the other thing. I think he's more Favre than Rodgers, which we've discussed many of times, and I think we're just more used to Rodgers than we are Favre recently in terms of evaluating Packers quarterbacks. But Jason, answer this one. Is he going to be more Favre Rodgers or Mikowski when it's all said and done?
Yeah, that's
because, and by the way, I don't want that.
Right, because what you're about. Let me predict what you were going to say. Because Don Mikowski was a pretty darn good quarterback until his injury, and then Favre took over. Like, it's not like he was a bum.
That's correct.
I don't. I'm gonna punt on that. I don't know. I don't know, but I don't think
you want to say Mikowski, but you don't want to be Soundcraft. That's what just happened right here. If we're being honest,
I don't know what he's going to be. The future is still unwritten.
Well, so then, okay, wait, Jason. So Tausch is
Evan.
right. Tausch is right, obviously.
Obviously.
So Tausch did something unbelievable for me, which I'll get to, which I am so grateful for. I think maybe the greatest thing Tausch has ever done for me. I can. That's a good tease, but
offered you 2 VIP tickets to our favorite band. Yeah, that was
you did
nice.
something even better. Believe it or not.
Oh, I'm curious.
He doesn't even know what it is.
No, I have an idea.
Jason, let's pretend we never talked Jordan Love. Let's pretend we never talked Rodgers and Favre. If I were to say to you, Don Mikowski, as a quarterback during the time he was in the NFL for the Green Bay Packers specifically, his overall letter grade would be?
Boy, you want to talk about what a great show Dallas was too? Like, this was a long, long time ago.
Dallas was off the air. In fairness to Evan, Dallas was off the air when Magic was quarterback in the Genius.
Are you sure? His first year
89.
was
Dallas went off in 88.
He was he started 5 games in 87 as a rookie.
Oh, no, then, okay, pull back. He was still there. Okay. Fair. All right, my bad.
Then he started 9 games in 88. Look,
Jason Wilde, give me a grade.
Yeah, give him a grade.
A solid B.
Okay.
When in doubt, I give out Bs.
Okay. So, Jordan Love's career with the Green Bay Packers, if you had to project a letter grade as we sit here today on June 3rd, we're projecting a decade in advance, but your projection of what you think his grade is going to be as quarterback for the Green Bay Packers would be?
If Rodgers and Favre were A+, I want to say A-, but I'm going to say B+, which is better. Okay. Which is better than Don Mikowski, but not as good as.
Well, here's the
two Hall
deal:
of Famers.
you cannot be in the A's if you don't have a championship. Can't.
Okay. For that organization specifically,
sure.
I agree with you.
Yeah, very
yes. Now, let's discuss why the regression angle then comes to light specifically with this quarterback who's so young in his career. It's because he now, based on what Jason Wilde just did, in the lifetime of the audience that is listening, the fans of Wilde And Tausch that are listening and watching right now, he does not have a comp. So, because we thought he could be Rodgers and Favre, and we're saying he's actually in between Rodgers and Favre and Mikowski, thus regression is from A+ assumed, no evidence, to B+ practical. Thus, that's a regression. It is actually unfair to label it a regression because he never actually gave us A+. We just assumed A+. That was the greatest breakdown any person has ever given of anything ever, I think. Not to, pat myself on the back.
Very humble.
Wow.
Very
Jason
humble.
Jason Wilde right now, I can't see him, but has a face of, damn, I hate this guy. That was good. That's the face that Jason
Yeah,
Wilde
he did kind of give that smirk. Well, here's the question I have. I think most of us going into 23 would have been pretty content with him being like a C-plus first year. Nobody had expectations. Packers not going to be a playoff team. And then we start off 2-5, and it's, oh, boy, here we go. And then everything sped up. It got Anders Carlson out of the Green Bay Packers organization. And what Jordan Love did from Thanksgiving of 23 till the postseason loss to San Francisco sped up a process that maybe now we're looking at he has regressed from that point. That doesn't mean he regressed from September of 23, but he certainly regressed from Thanksgiving of 23. And that's unfair, but that's the reality of playing the quarterback position. That's how I would look at it.
So that takes us to the place where Jason went to, and I know I went to a couple of months ago with you guys, of this year, Green Bay Packers need to be an NFC championship team in the NFC championship game.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan Love needs to be top 5 in MVP, and Matt LaFleur needs to be top 5 in Coach of the Year. I'm not saying or else. I'm not suggesting that. What I am suggesting is, as we've discussed, 1 year from now, if at least 2 of those 3 aren't accomplished, I believe we talk about them closer to the end than we do the beginning. Doesn't mean
Here's
it's
what I
be
would
closer
say.
to the end. We talk about
Right.
them in that regard.
Here's what I would say. When you start factoring in, and we haven't even gotten to what happened with Detroit center and retiring yesterday. We haven't even gotten into that yet. I will get into that in the next hour.
That's a big deal. Not that we should be talking offensive linemen ever.
It's a big deal. No. Hold up. I know how you roll. But what it does tell me, and you're saying NFC Championship game, I'm saying this. Vikings are going to a young quarterback. Bears have a new coach. Detroit lost both coordinators, and they've lost some key pieces, and their star pass rusher is coming back from a busted-up leg. The Green Bay Packers need to win the North. I'm not going to say they need to go to a Super Bowl. They need to recapture the North under LaFleur with Jordan Love to put the stamp back on that we are the kings of the North. That's what needs to happen in 2025. Mm-hmm. More so than, yes, we want to win championships. Huh?
No, you're strong today. You came prepared. I like this. I think you're right about what you're saying, and it reminds me, Tausch, of Coach Alvarez, right? Coach Alvarez would always say, let's start with the Big Ten. Like, worry about everything else after that. Win the Big Ten, take you to the Rose Bowl, and, there were years, obviously, when I was in school there from 98 to 02, where they were in the national championship conversation, not in the game. But Barry Alvarez would always say, Big Ten, Big Ten, Big Ten. And I remember for a long period of time wondering after that, like, all right, Barry, you're so damn amazing. Why not think bigger than Big Ten? And his point, and he's right now, especially retroactively, was always it starts there. Everything else can fall into place, right? Because I think when you think national championship, you may not win the Big Ten. But when you think Big Ten, you may be in the national championship race. So to your point, if you just think North and you think practically winning the North means you're better than Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson, which I think is not going to be easy. I think they're going to be good. You're better than Brian Flores and Kevin O'Connell, a great defense-offense combo package, and you're better than the defending NFC North champ Detroit Lions. So I think you're right. Start North and then work from there.
Yeah, I think there's no excuse at this
point.
What
a civil, serious back and forth we've had today. Jeez.
Well, it's not even civil. You're talking about what you're looking for, what that, I guess, the benchmark needs to be. We have not won the division in 2 seasons. Or is it 3
seasons?
That's
not what I'm talking about. I'm wondering, do the Wilde and Tausch fans that are with us every Tuesday, do they like what's happening now, or do they want us destroying each other? Because we've kind of set a pattern of just ragging on each other and laughing.
Sure.
And we've had hardcore NFL analysis that I think has been very good.
Well, not only
happy with this?
Yeah, not only that. Now, so we're gonna ask you to stick around through
I have
break.
a call.
What time?
Well, Tausch told me to break here and then bring you back, so take it up with Tausch.
Yeah, wait, I don't want to rush Evan telling me the greatest thing I've ever done for him.
Okay, I have an important call with HR. That's not a joke. I will have to reach out. I may even have jury duty.
Come back later in the show.
Sure.
Hey, come back later in the show. Let us know when you're free.
No. I will reach out. Hold on. I will reach out, and I will see if I can push it back, and we'll see what happens here. So, coming up, maybe, possibly, I will reveal a story of the nicest thing that Tausch has ever done for me. We'll find out if I show up. Next, it's Wilde and Tausch on ESPN Wisconsin.
Oh, he's teasing us out.
It's really good. There you go.
On the air, on demand, on social, on Wisconsin Sports. Serving Wisconsin sports fans. This is 100.5 ESPN. Rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute brought to you by your Badgerland Chevy dealers, proud supporters of Badger Athletics. Go to BadgerlandChevy.com. Among the Badger greats, basketball legend Frank Kaminsky, one of the next 12 to enter the UW Athletics Hall of Fame, the 2015 National Player of the Year, on what the honor means.
It means the kind of culmination of my career here as a Badger, and just kind of like a reminder of how special it was. And you like to see your hard work and all that stuff pay off, and to be honored in this way, to go into the Athletic Hall of Fame, it's extremely special.
Celebrate Kaminsky's achievement and much more at the Made 'em Believe event June 26th. More info at uwhoops2015.com.
What a beautiful day to have new windows and doors installed.
Pella has a product line for every budget.
No interest and no payments for up to 2 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Memorial Day savings are here at Brothers Maine. Shop unbeatable deals on top brands like GE Appliances, Cafe, Hotpoint, and Monogram. Plus, enjoy expert support and free local delivery. Visit us today and feel like family at Brothers Maine.
Home practice is about to begin. Your daughter's new tap shoes? Loud. Your son's new tuba? Louder. But you got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with $50 overdraft Greystone. So if you lose track of expenses buying some noise-canceling and sanity-saving headphones, we've got your back. You got this with $50 overdraft Greystone from Associated Bank. See AssociatedBank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Brew Crew Tuesdays are back on June 17th.
Churio sends it deep to left, and there she goes!
Catch the Brewers on local TV as they battle the Chicago Cubs.
And Yelich launches one deep right center field. Forget about it. Oh, my goodness.
This edition of Brew Crew Tuesdays is presented by Delta Dental of Wisconsin. Tune in June 17th at 7:05 on WISC TV in Madison, or check your local listings to watch the game.
Metro Ford of Madison is Madison's trusted Ford dealership. Whether you're in the market for a new or new-to-you vehicle, Metro Ford of Madison has the customer service that's second to none. Metro Ford is also the home of the 2 years no-charge maintenance offer on new vehicle purchases, making it the place to go for the new Ford of your dreams. Browse their inventory, schedule a service, or see this month's offers at MetroFordOfMadison.com. That's MetroFordOfMadison.com.
My name is Rob, and I was seriously injured. When I think of Gruber Law Offices, I think of an honest, hard-working team who will fight to represent you. Couldn't be happier with the call that I made that day.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
Mark Tusher here for Chalmers Jewelers. I've been a big fan of Scott, Garrett, and the whole team at Chalmers Jewelers for years now. I go there, my friends go there, and most importantly, my wife loves it whenever I get her something from Chalmers Jewelers. It's my go-to spot for birthdays, anniversaries, and any special occasion. For quality jewelry and a great experience, choose Chalmers Jewelers, the place to go for that perfect gift. Stop at Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton and Madison.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
and Madison.
Summer is here, and there's no better way to celebrate than with Door County Distillery. Hey, it's Alex Stroh. I've been telling you for years how great Door County Distillery is. Locally produced, handcrafted, and award-winning spirits made locally in beautiful Door County. The sun is shining, and so can the Rock Island Rum from Door County Distillery in your summertime cocktail. Otherwise, vodkas, gins, whiskeys, brandies, and more. It's all available from the award-winning Door County Distillery. Find a huge list of unique cocktail recipes and the retailer nearest you, doorcountydistillery.com. That's doorcountydistillery.com.
Wilde and Tausch on 100.5 ESPN is brought to you by Everlight Solar. Save money, save the planet. Everlight Solar.
Well, apparently Evan could not push back his meeting with HR because he's not back. So, do you know what nice thing you did? Or did he just decide, you know what, we've gotten along too well?
He texted me that he's good. So he's good. I'm assuming he's calling back in.
Oh, I'll give him a call then and see. I assume
he
he
said
would just
he's
call
good,
right back
so
in.
I don't-
Oh, okay. I'll call him.
Okay. Well, then we eagerly await that conversation. Have we heard from Jesse at all?
He can't. He's how much can he talk about what's going on when he's
I don't
done?
think he can talk about the case in any way, shape, or form.
No, when it's done.
I don't know. That's a good question.
So if he gets done with jury duty on Wednesday and comes back on the show Thursday, he'll probably have to take a day to regroup from this arduous jury duty. Can he discuss what happened in that room? Why they got to the decision they did? How they got there? Because the case is then done, correct?
I would think. I mean, look, the OJ jurors wrote books, right?
They did. Yeah.
So
once it's over, it's over. But then what about appeals? And then, Jesse Nelson on Wilde and Tausch ended up doing this, and then the appeal process comes and says, well, the jury was tainted because this is how this played out. That's where I don't know how that works.
Yeah, well,
from a jury duty standpoint.
I will ask David Gruber. He is my go-to on all things legal. So I will ask him. I'll text him after we get done talking some more with Evan Cohen, who is done with Lisa Putterman, and he's now joining us again on Wilde and Tausch. Hi, Evan.
Well, I'm not done. I had to postpone, and Lisa is wonderful in our HR office, and she was willing to move it back, and she is amazing. Speaking of Gruber, I was with Gruber on Thursday night, as a matter of fact, at Madison Square Garden. Hung with him watching the Knicks and the Pacers game.
Cool.
All right.
We
Nice
want to
drop.
know what nice thing Tausch did for you.
Wow. Oh, okay. So Mark Tauscher did something pretty amazing. So the other day, on Friday, actually it ties into the Gruber story now that I think about it. So this has been a very busy week for me in terms of travel and just different things. So Thursday night, I live outside of New York City. Let's call it about an hour outside of New York City. But Wednesday
But
night and
inside
Thursday
gates.
night of this, no gates. I promise you, no gates. Wednesday night and Thursday night, for a myriad of reasons, I stayed in New York City at a hotel. So Friday, I did not have my car with me. Friday, I'm taking the train home, which is about an hour train home. And, you know, you're around people on a train, so you don't really talk on the phone or anything like that. And I get, Tausch texts me, and he says, what's Chris Canty, unsportsmanlike, 5 a.m., ESPN, Wisconsin. What's Canty's issue with Brooks Bollinger? And I said, former Badger quarterback. I said, no, nothing at all. They just didn't win a game that they played together with the Cowboys. And that Canty hates losing so much that game, he would have been bothered with anyone that was at the quarterback position. It was Brooks, and that Brooks was a great teammate. And then before Tausch could even respond, I sent another text to Tausch. I said, when are Bollinger and I going to become friends? It's bothering me that we're not. Now, let me explain something. I think every single Wisconsin sports fan, not Badgers specifically, state of, and everywhere, has a player that they love that no matter what, they'll rank ahead of everybody, even if they're not the best at that, right? There's a million Packers that are non-obvious, non-love Favre, Rodgers guys that I'm sure, like, Jason, your favorite Packer growing up, that's the non-obvious one.
John Jefferson.
Okay, Tausch?
Gary Ellis.
Frankie Winters.
Okay. Right. So, like, Favre was the best player of the team. No, like, Tausch may say, no, I think Frankie Winters was. Like, he was just the best, right? So during my time at Wisconsin, Ron Dane was known as the best player on the Badgers. Obviously, NCAA leading rusher and Heisman Trophy winner. But I thought Brooks Bollinger was the greatest. I thought Brooks Bollinger was the greatest quarterback. I thought he was so cool at how he handled it. The game at Ohio State, 42-17, his first start, I think they won. I just thought he was the best. I thought he was the best representative of the University of Wisconsin at that position. I interviewed him a few times, talked on the phone with him in an interview once or whatever. And then all of a sudden, so I'm driving home. I just wanted to set it up that way. Driving home, or on the train home, Tausch is calling me. I text him back. I say, I can't talk. I'm on the train. I see a voicemail pop up. I'm like, that's weird. Tausch never leaves me a voicemail. Play the voicemail. It's Brooks Bollinger from Tausch's phone leaving me a voicemail saying hello and talking about going out to dinner, etc. And it was the greatest thing ever because I love Bollinger. I feel like maybe he's on the other line right now and I said all this, but who knows? But Brooks Bollinger is the best, and Tausch got him to leave me a voicemail on Friday. That was very nice of Tausch.
There you go. Yeah.
He is the best. I sent a text to him and to Tausch with a photo of Brooks during his MVP season in the UFL. I got no response, so you should feel very good that they called you while you were on the train. You mentioned being with Gruber at Game 6 of the Eastern
We're
Conference.
going to end this there. I was too long on that. We're not going to actually get. When am I going to become friends with him? That's what I'd like to know, Tausch.
Well, I think a Tornado Room meal, probably. I don't know which game you guys are coming out for. We're doing a big Rose Bowl deal, I think, before the Ohio State game. So that would be a good opportunity for you.
I didn't know we are. We are?
Yeah. I think you covered that team. You could come back and.
That's right. I covered it. That's right. What day is that?
So come on back. Absolutely. So that would be probably the next best option.
Ask Brooks. He'll tell you what day it is.
Tausch, put us on a text. Me, you, and Brooks. Do that. Do me a favor.
I'll do that. Okay.
And by the way, this now may be. Am I going to come back for 3 Badger games this year? So now this is interesting. So we have this Ohio State Rose Bowl game that we're doing. All of us that were part of the Rose Bowl team.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's all of us that were part of the Rose Bowl team. Me, Brooks, Tausch, Braun, the crew.
The gang.
Then November 22nd, Wisconsin at Illinois. Keep an eye out for that one because there could be a certain show that pops up on a special Saturday show for that one.
Oh, wow.
Just throwing that out there.
Bielema on set.
That'll be fun. Yeah.
Yep. And then, you know what I've been thinking about, and I could say this because obviously he's in school not listening. We thought about, for my son's birthday this year, he's turning 12. He's never been to Madison, and my wife and I are both UW-Madison grads.
Vegas to the Midwest.
That's right. We thought about taking my son and daughter to Madison as a birthday present for my son.
I love that idea.
Well,
instead of a stupid birthday party that you waste money and nobody cares.
Sure. I think what you should do
or the QR code
is come back when Matt LePay gets inducted into the Hall of Fame. You should make that the weekend that you come back with your kids.
Great call. Great idea.
Tausch, I'm actually one step ahead of you. That happens to be my son's birthday that weekend.
That is.
Now, am I inducting him?
Coming together.
I can't speak for Matt. I don't know. You'd have to ask Matt.
Well, you are.
I would think
you'd be on the Rose Bowl team.
You'd be on the short list, I would think, for sure.
Who else would be on that list?
So,
Jesse Nelson.
Me or you?
I think Jesse probably
would
be right there. Mm-hmm.
I mean, Tausch, what about, I'm dead serious. What about you and I doing this
let me
together?
Hear it.
I'm dead serious. Well,
no, I know you are.
For the Wisconsin Athletic Hall of Fame, Do they have presenters?
I don't know. I don't believe so. I think it's just the person that gets inducted is who speaks. But
I was going to say,
I don't think you could
move.
tell. Like, I feel like preemptively putting yourself in that position. I don't think we can do that. Maybe we can. Next time LePay joins us, we'll ask him. Yeah.
Dash, I got an idea. What if we do
let's
this?
hear it. Okay.
You and I are co-presenters for LePay getting into the UW Sports Hall of Fame. And then what LePay does is surprise us, naming both of us 2026 honorees.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, I'm in for that. That
both
sounds
of
like
us should be in. We won a
for
Rose
sure.
Bowl.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, I'll sign up for that. I think both of those things sound great on my end. And then we go have a meal. We grab a bite, take a beat, grab a tornado. Yeah, I think that sounds perfect. Well, for LePay, we'll even go in early. We'll get like a 5 o'clock reservation instead of a 10 o'clock.
Well done. All right.
There you
What
go,
were
Jason.
asking, Jason?
There
Sorry.
we go.
I was just going to ask about the NBA Finals since you were there for Game 6 and the Knicks losing to the Pacers, but we should probably just let you go because you've got to talk to Lisa.
No, we can talk about it. I mean, I told her 15, 20 minutes. It's been 12, unless you want to get rid of me. which it sounds like you do.
Lisa is awesome. I don't want to keep her waiting. That's all I was thinking of.
Can I ask you? I have a dead serious question. So, Game 5 at the Garden is what we went to, and I was talking to one of our teammates at Good Karma Brands, the great Tim Colligan, and Tim works on the finance and business side, but he brought up something very interesting. He said it's weird. Wisconsin is unbelievable at rooting for their own. I said, I know. He said, but if you're from Wisconsin, you went to school at Wisconsin or Marquette, if you're a pro athlete and you come back, we are really good in the state of Wisconsin at rooting for our own. I said, yeah, I agree. What's the catch here? It was except for one guy.
Yeah.
I said, who? He said, Wisconsin does not like Tyrese Halliburton. He's the only hometown guy that the fans will not root for. So I ask you both, is Tyrese Halliburton the most disliked Wisconsin native or UW-Madison, Marquette, UW-Milwaukee, whatever, graduate in all of Wisconsin sports right now?
Yes. Right now, there's no question. I'm trying to think who's even in the conversation with him.
I don't know who's in the conversation historically. That's a really good
Well,
that's a good question.
Play out a couple of things. Aaron Rodgers comes back with the Steelers this year, theoretically. He's split, right? He's getting cheers, maybe a couple of boos, but, split at worst case scenario.
No. If it was in Green Bay, Evan, I'm going to say this. If he comes back to Green Bay as a Steeler, he gets booed universally.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would not have expected that. Okay, so he's
Jason,
on the
do you
board.
disagree with me on that?
How badly does he get booed?
I don't think it's not like Favre with the Vikings.
Okay.
But there's not going to be a ton of applause. There's going to be, if there's any applause, it's a smattering. It's going to be Boo City, USA.
Okay,
but that ain't going to happen anyways. It's in Pittsburgh. So
correct.
All right, so Russell Wilson comes back theoretically with the Giants. I think there's no reaction. It's not booing or cheering. It's indifference, right, I would say, with Russ at that point.
Totally
Maybe
agree.
A couple of Badger fans to show up with Badger jerseys, so he's not disliked. He's neither, right? The time was so short in Wisconsin. Tyler Hero, my guy with the Heat.
That was going to be that's exactly who I was going to ask about.
Well, Tyler very much reps Milwaukee, right? He was always wearing Brewers gear. He actually has rocked old school Bucks gear at times, which is weird considering he's on the Heat. Is he booed?
I don't think
He's more
so.
disliked than Tyrese Halliburton? Yeah, I wouldn't think so either.
Not even close. No, not close.
Jimmy Butler, Marquette, probably indifferent or cheering, right? I mean, so Halliburton is by far, in your minds, the most disliked hometown-ish Wisconsin athlete?
At least currently.
Yeah, it's not close. Yeah, there's nobody else I can even think of.
Well, you just told me that everyone would boo Aaron Rodgers, so you just thought of someone. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but I think
it's different. That's because he's like if if Halliburton just came back and it wasn't at a Bucks game, he's still nobody here. I think everybody feels like he has been an antagonist towards the Bucks, and that's why it would be
great
the case.
word.
His dad is cussing out Giannis. There's just a lot of stuff there that I think sports fans from Wisconsin don't like. Rodgers, it's just I think they're done with him, and I think that's more of what it's like. Rodgers will get a hero's welcome like Favre did when he comes back as a Packer Hall of Famer, but that'll be 5 years down the road.
Right, and by the way, I'm not a Rodgers guy, but I think that is the right reaction, the right response
for sure
from Packers fans.
Absolutely.
When he's done. I mean, the guy won a Super Bowl and a million MVPs.
I agree. Yep.
Wow. Okay.
That has been your NBA Finals preview with Evan Cohen on Wilde And Tausch.
And Ed Helms sucks. That's the other thing. Did you get to meet Ben Stiller at all? And do you think he's as overrated as an actor as I do?
I have not met him. I don't know if I should reveal this. He supposedly lives a couple of streets down from me. I have not seen him in town.
Oh, boy. That's awesome. All right.
No gates, though. No gates.
No, there are no
gates.
gates.
I bet he's gated. No, I bet old boy's gated.
I don't think so. I've driven on the street. I don't. My town is not a gated town. Not like the Tauscher compound. I mean, my God.
How about Bill Gates?
Antonio Gates.
No, Kevin Gates. You guys don't. There's no way you guys know who Kevin Gates is.
I don't know Kevin Gates.
I don't.
Is he a catcher for the Royals? Okay.
Wasn't one of the guys in Hoop Dreams? Gates?
Yes.
William Gates.
Yeah, Will Gates. Yes. What great poll. Well done.
Thank you.
All right, we should let you go now.
Probably should have let me go after the last segment if we're going to really be honest.
Probably.
About this.
If we're being honest. But
well, congrats on that Rose Bowl title. Bye.
Do your job.
That is Evan Cohen of Unsportsmanlike. He joins us every Tuesday to talk, well, who knows what we're going to talk about. But it's all over the map. He did mention David Gruber, and Gruber Law Offices, one call, that's all. David and his team have been the best in the business for over 35 years. And I tell you all the time, I hope you never have to make the call, because that means you've never been seriously injured in an accident. But if you are, you need to get what's coming to you, and you need them on your team. 414-276-6666, 414-276-6666. Go to the website, gruber-law.com. Gruber Law Offices, one call. That's all. The 10 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch starts in 2 minutes, so stick around.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance. Like your first home expansion or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Hey, this is former Badger Brad Norton.
Norman, it's a fake. Great call and great execution.
You're listening to a Good Karma Brands radio station, 100.5 ESPN, WTLX, Monona, Madison.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
What is up, Madison? I'm Hunter Vaughn. Your Sports Center update is brought to you by Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison for generations. Check them out at 220 State Street and online at goodmansjewelers.com. Christian Yelich is on fire. Yesterday, he was named the NL Player of the Week for his performance in the previous week. And after returning to the lineup last night, he extended his hitting streak to 9 games with a bomb of epic proportions.
3-2 to Yelich. Breaking ball hammered deep into center field. Friedel's going back, turning at the warning track, watching it sail at the wall. It's way out of here. Man, Christian Yelich just keeps on doing it. That was a bomb of epic proportions off the batter's eye in center field in Cincinnati.
The Brew Crew look to extend their winning streak to 9 games tonight as they are back at Cincinnati to take on the Reds. Coverage starts at 5:34. First pitch will be at 6:10. Fastball Freddie Peralta will be on the mound for the Crew. He's sitting at 5-3 on the year with a 2.77 ERA. Hour 2 of Wilde and Tausch starts right now.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
The 10 o'clock hour of Wilde and Tausch. Finally, sooner or later indeed, Matt Carney, begins. And just briefly, I would like to discuss this because I want to get to something that Josh Jacobs said last week. Before we have even more conversations today with Matt LaFleur, with, I believe, 6 players that we're going to get to talk to today. I'm hoping Zach Tom is among them. How many games in a row have the Brewers won now? 8 in a row. Can we not do since he's not here and he's on jury duty, can we not do hey, way to go, Jesse, way to light a fire under them and the manager? Can't we just say that Jesse was wrong and move on? That he was premature, that he spoke out of turn. I feel like we've given him credit he doesn't deserve for them getting their act together. Can we agree on that, or are you insistent on giving Jesse credit for getting the Brewers going with his, I'm not saying, I'm just saying, the manager's seat should be warm?
I'm going to give him a little credit. Obviously, the players and the coaches and what they've done is they've been fantastic. And Christian Yelich is player of the week, and he's hitting a bomb last night to take a lead. It always comes back to the players. But I do think, and this is the hard part about a small market team, when you lose guys, I think there's and this is why I always get irritated in September when the Brewers are humming along and it's, they're a great season, but they can't compete with the Dodgers and the Mets. And okay, I do think there is almost a sense of inevitability that things will catch up, even if the Brewers have a good season. And when they don't, it's almost as if that's just that's baked into the cake of the revenue system and how the Major League Baseball mechanics work. And I've always thought, it doesn't have to be that way. Now, the odds will tell you it's going to be that way. But what Pat Murphy did last year deserved a ton of credit. And when the season started off a little sluggish like it did, Pat Murphy got some criticism. But do I think Jesse had any way, shape, or form helped the Brewers win 8 games? No. But what I do think is when you're a fan base that holds people, I don't want to say feet to the fire, but there is a standard that obviously you don't see in Colorado or in Chicago with the White Sox. You don't want to just give in. I don't want our fans to ever just sit here and say, they lost so-and-so. Woody's got to get back. I just don't ever want to be that fan base. And that's why I gave Jesse some credit, because it was absurd to think that Pat Murphy in his second year, after being manager of the year and you have a little bit of a blip, you're going to start asking to fire him. That's why we gave him grief that we did. But I like the general thought process of just because, we are back up against it a little bit. We don't have the same revenue and we don't have the same resources that the New Yorks and that the L.A. But I don't ever want to get to the point of meh and just fatigue and, this is just how it goes. I don't ever want to be a fan of a team like that. And that's where I think when you do have some criticism, you don't want apathy, is I guess the word I'm looking for. And apathy is just like, you put your hands up, but what are we supposed to do? Pat Murphy didn't say that. Pat Murphy's like, yeah, we got to get tougher. We got to get more grit.
Yeah.
We got to fight. We're not fighting.
Mm-hmm.
And the team has responded. And I think for Wisconsinites, I think we love the fact we always like a good underdog story, and we always like when a team responds to adversity. Whether or not this season is going to be star-spangled awesome, this has been a great run. Hopefully you can get to 12 so you can go eat some burgers, and you can get that would be awesome. But you dug yourself out of that hole, and I'm not crediting Jesse, but what I am saying is I don't ever want to hear our fans or Wisconsin sports fans just say, nah, that's just the way it is. There's nothing you can do about it, because that is a polluted mindset.
Thank you, Mike McCarthy. All right, I want to get to something Josh Jacobs said last week. We'll do that coming up. Want to remind you, it doesn't matter if it's the series on Damian Lillard or on Bucks and Six and Brandon Jennings or the Olympics or the Giannis documentary. Everything you could possibly need in terms of storytelling when it comes to the Bucks is on the Behind the Bucks podcast presented by Gallagher. You can find that on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and wherever you get your podcasts. Again, Behind the Bucks presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. We'll get to Josh Jacobs and him lighting the fire like Billy Joel. Next, it's Wilde And Tausch.
This is Wilde And Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Mark Tauscher here, encouraging you to save money and help save the planet by making an energy switch to Everlight Solar. Whether it's for an upcoming summer vacation, college tuition, in advance of a life-changing purchase, or just because you're financially responsible, everybody is always looking to save money. Well, you can save money and help save the planet by making an energy switch with Everlight Solar. Our family made the switch to solar after looking around for quite some time, and at first, we just weren't quite sure where to even start. That's when we met the great team over at Everlight Solar. From the very first conversation, they educated us on the benefits of solar while also helping keep the process simple. Join us in saving a ton of money and creating a greener environment for our family and the community by switching to solar. Learn more and schedule a free consultation at everlightsolar.com. That's everlightsolar.com.
The Milwaukee Brewers, the Cincinnati Reds.
Churio launches one out to left. This is carrying back, and it is gone. Jackson Churio goes deep.
Tonight on 100.5 ESPN.
Take your game to the next level with Vortex Golf. This employee-owned brand out of Wisconsin brings you premium rangefinders like the Blade, Blade Slope, and the Anarch, packed with features like image stabilization, pin spotter mode, and rock-solid accuracy. Backed by a legendary no-questions-asked VIP lifetime warranty and unmatched customer service, Vortex has you covered. Ready to upgrade your gear? Visit maplehillgolf.com and search Vortex to see the full lineup. Vortex Golf, you can bet on it.
Hey, it's Riley Yauk. Stay in the know on area high school sports and follow ESPN Madison on social media for Prep Mania on Deck, each week's preview for the top games and events. Prep Mania on Deck is brought to you by Zimbrick Honda, a proud supporter of high school sports and local communities.
GRB Academy is baseball for the serious player. Over the past 15 years, GRB has been Wisconsin's top destination for player development and advancement, including over 468 college commitments and 27 MLB draft picks. Their facility in Windsor is the home of GRB Rays baseball and features over 52,000 square feet of elite baseball training. Tryouts for the 2026 summer season begin July 22nd. Find full training programs and register now at grbacademy.com.
Sip into a flawless summer. Hey, it's KBN's Brad Nortman. Let carbless, ready-to-drink cocktails be your passport to pool parties, patio hangouts, cookouts, and pure summer bliss. Carbless is here to spark a summer of flavor and fun. 0 carbs, 0 sugar, just 100 calories, and of course, all the good vibes. From fruity flavors to refreshing fizz, Carbless stands out in a sea of same-old seltzers. See what flavors fit your summer. Find your bliss today at drinkcarbless.com and enter to win a flawless summer prize pack today.
If you're a motorist of the four-wheel variety, please watch out for those of us in Wisconsin who do their traveling on 2 wheels. Adjust your mirrors to reduce your blind spots. Allow motorcyclists a full lane width. Use your turn signal when merging or changing lanes. And allow more following distance between you and the motorcycle. Motorists and motorcyclists can work together to achieve 0 preventable deaths on Wisconsin roads. 0 in Wisconsin. Together we can save lives. Learn more at zeroinwisconsin.gov. Wisconsin DOT.
Join the Madison Money Guy, Christian Finfrock, for Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Get the information you need as you plan for retirement. That's Retirement Income Strategies, Saturday and Sunday mornings at 7. Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Income Strategies, an SEC-registered investment advisor.
My name is Zach Lind. I'm a podiatric surgeon at Stoughton Health. What brought me into podiatry specifically was a lot of injuries growing up. I skateboarded a lot, played hockey, so I was kind of always injured, a lot of heel pain, a lot of ankle sprains, so I had seen a local podiatrist quite frequently. What I focus on mainly in practice is a lot of the elective bunions, hammer toes, flat foot reconstruction, high arch reconstruction. We do a lot of ankle fractures, fifth met fractures, so Jones fractures, Liz Frank injuries, Achilles ruptures.
Learn more at stoughtonhealth.com.
We're on the Bucks.
In the landscape of today's NBA.
Because we're on Wisconsin sports.
Why would you be loyal to an organization? None of your peers are.
Madison's home of the Bucks. 100.5 ESPN.
I'll be headed to Lambeau Field in a little while here. The Packers have their OTA practice kicking off at 11:25. It is the second open to the media session, second and final. And we've got the mandatory minicamp next week. It is not open to fans, despite Tausch and I agreeing that they should.
I don't know how much time you're spending on. You don't spend much time on Twitter anymore, but is this a real thing? Where they have a kangaroo as a service animal, and the kangaroo is sitting in the seat, buckled up, eating peanuts. Is that AI fake or is that real?
Send me the link, Tausch, and I'll look into it.
I mean, if that's the case, could you imagine jumping on a plane and you're going to, let's say you're going Green Bay to Florida, and you end up sitting next to, is there something weirder that you'd sit next to than a kangaroo?
No, I would love that. Count me in. I'd even sit in the middle seat if it meant sitting next to a kangaroo on my flight. If it's real and Eleanor signed off on it, would you go kangaroo instead of dog?
Ooh, that is a really good question.
According to Grok, it is AI generated.
But I saw the reason because I saw it twice. I saw
think
the
a woman
kangaroo,
tried
and
to
I
bring
thought
it
it was
on
weird.
as a service animal, and then somebody
created
created an AI one.
Hunter, let's be honest. There's been some pretty ridiculous.
I saw one of her trying to bring it on the plane. I saw that.
Yeah. But was that Grok too? Was that AI?
No, I think that was legit.
Yep, and then someone used AI to make a video that looks like it's there chilling, eating some peanuts.
Was he smoking too, or was he doing anything else?
Yeah,
well,
AI.
Come on,
Jason,
Jason, that's ridiculous. You can't smoke on an airplane. Come on, dude.
Not
that's
even
crazy
kangaroos.
Talk.
He was vaping.
But so the gal brought the kangaroo to the airport, trying to get the kangaroo.
I think so.
Yeah, right to where you check tickets. Yeah. That was real, or was that fake too? Then
I don't know. We'll have to do some research on that.
I'll keep researching.
I don't think I'd want a kangaroo as a pet. First off, you see those kangaroos will kick you. That is a strong animal. I think a kangaroo. You get in a wrestling match with a kangaroo. I don't know if they're going to be kickboxing you. You're going to get jabbed. It ain't going to be no easy fight.
That's true.
Turns out the other one is also AI generated.
Oh, no!
Both of them are fakes. This is why I don't like the internet anymore. It's not as fun.
What world are we? I mean, this is only going to get a lot worse. How am I going to be able to? Is there going to be some type of safeguards that we can know? Like, I thought that this kangaroo sitting in a seat was fake. I thought the kangaroo checking in was real. So I was wrong on one, right on the other.
Batting 500.
Yeah, it's what a world. What a world. All right, what did Josh Jacobs do? Did he take a kangaroo to?
No, let's do this because I don't want to start the Josh Jacobs thing now. Let's do that next. Even though Hunter did come back with Billy Joel's We Didn't Start the Fire. We'll do that. Why don't you tell us about American Family Insurance? You had a great time yesterday at the AmFam Championship Pro-Am, and we've had a great time with AmFam, who's been with us from the very start.
And we're going to have a great time on Friday. We're heading out for the start of the AmFam Championship. It's going to be a full, fun new deal. And we love the fact American Family Insurance has been a proud partner of Wilde And Tausch from the jump for almost 100 years. They have been committed to making life better with the right home and auto protection, all so you're free to enjoy your dreams. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly with American Family Insurance. Get a quote or find an agent at amfam.com.
We'll get to more from Josh Jacobs, or maybe we'll discuss kangaroos on airplanes vaping. I don't know. We'll find out together next. It's Wilde And Tausch.
This is Wilde And Tausch, driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
When you're in the right place at the right time, things get done. The important things, like knowing what you need and how it all works. Talking truck. Fixing it right the first time. At Zimbrick Chevrolet, our people get it done right and now. That's how you know you're in the right place at the right time. And you'll never overpay at Zimbrick Chevrolet.
And now for the Pella play-by-play, here's Jeff Levering.
Thanks, Gina Della from Pella. What a beautiful day to have new windows and doors installed.
Every day is beautiful because Pella installs year-round during all seasons.
It's so hard to guess that next pitch. The customizations seem endless.
And it doesn't have to be super expensive. Pella has a product line for every budget.
And if it is time for a major upgrade, rest easy by scoring no interest and no payments for up to 2 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply on 6/30/2025.
Hey, Wisconsin, it's Mark Tauscher, and if you know me, you know I love our home teams, like the Brewers and UW Credit Union. And now, when you open a rewards checking account at any UW Credit Union branch by June 6th, you get 2 Brewers tickets for an upcoming game. Plus, enjoy all the best rewards, like early payday and cash back on credit card purchases. Visit any UW Credit Union branch or uwcu.org for details. Federally insured by NCUA. Terms and conditions do apply.
Tournament host Steve Stricker joins a star-studded group of PGA Tour champions at the American Family Insurance Championship. Catch the action June 6th through the 8th with an exciting team competition and a new tournament home at TPC, Wisconsin. This year's AmFam Champ concert features Megan Maroney with special guest Clint Black on Friday, June 6th at Bree Stevens Field. All proceeds support the Steve Stricker American Family Insurance Foundation and American Family Children's Hospital. Get your tickets today at amfamchampionship.com.
It's ESPN Wisconsin's Ben Bruss talking about our friends at Road America, America's National Park of Speed. Get out of your house this summer and go to Road America, located conveniently between Green Bay and Milwaukee and Elkhart Lake. Come see a race at the legendary 4-mile, 14-turn road circuit that has hosted some of the best races since 1955. WeatherTech Chicago is up next on June 6th through the 8th. Camp on site all weekend and enjoy free admission for kids 16 and under with a paying adult at the gate. Come for the experience and stay for the race. Get your tickets at roadamerica.com.
Hey, this is Jeff Levering with the Brewers Radio Network, and I've got a question for you. Is your home ready to shine this season? Whether it's roofing, siding, or windows, Ridgetop Exteriors is the name you can trust. For over 20 years, Ridgetop Exteriors has been Wisconsin's favorite for roofing, and they bring that same expertise to siding and windows. Imagine vibrant, low-maintenance siding and energy-efficient windows that brighten your home while cutting energy costs. Ridgetop Exteriors holds all expert-level installation credentials with the leading manufacturers, including Pella, James Hardy Fiber Cement Siding, and LP SmartSide Engineered Wood Siding. With thousands of 5-star reviews and a commitment to excellence, they're the clear choice for home improvement needs. Plus, consultations and estimates are always free, so there's no reason to wait. Call Ridgetop Exteriors today or visit ridgetopexteriors.com to schedule your free consultation. Ridgetop Exteriors, putting customers first every time.
Ridgetop Exteriors is the place for you.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app. Customizable just to you. Find the ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores today.
This is not Billy Joel. This is a newer version of We Didn't Start the Fire.
Fall Out Boy did an updated version, but unlike Billy Joel's, there just doesn't go quite as chronologically as Billy Joel.
All over the map, are they? So Josh Jacobs talked last week, and he talked about a lot of different things that were really interesting. But we did ask him about his comments regarding the Packers' need for a number one wide receiver, which he said while he was at the Super Bowl. And he said in like 4 different interviews. So it wasn't like he just slipped and said that once. He was pretty committed to that opinion. And some of us were wondering how that went over with the existing wide receivers. If you recall, both Jaden Reed and Dontavion Wicks had some responses on Twitter, if you remember. And he was asked if he had some conversations with those guys upon his return. Here's how that conversation went last week.
Josh, it's really clear how much you want to win. You make some headlines when you say that this team needs a number one receiver this offseason. I wonder how that affects your dynamic with your teammates, receivers who are already here. Is that tough? Is that something a leader has to do and take on anyways?
Nah, man, it don't affect it at all. I mean, I talk to them guys one-on-one. You know, we have real relationships. You know, even after the comment, I called them and talked to them. You know, so for me, it's just about, you know, pushing them to want to be great. You know, we got a lot of special guys in that room, like a lot of special guys in that room. So for me, it's about just trying to see them to see it in themselves and maximize, you know, their opportunities, because at the end of the day, that's what our team needs. So I believe in all them guys. I see the way they came in. I mean, if you've been seeing them in this OTAs, the way that they've been working, you could tell I definitely lit a little fire under them. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like I got the utmost respect, you know, in this building from the guys, just about the way I go about going to work each day. So it's not a big deal. Something we definitely talked about, but yeah. We passed it now.
Did you get any blowback on that?
Not from them.
From any of the guys?
Nah. When we talked about it, like, I don't really want to too much say our conversation, but like Jay Reed was like, you know, it's just motivation. You know, so he said, I understand, we got to prove it, it's motivation. So, and that just is what it is.
They did draft him.
Oh, I didn't quite make it into there. I said they did draft a wide receiver in the first round, so maybe Goody agreed with you, and he laughed, and that was the end of the conversation. Tausch, how do you view that now? Because we certainly talked about it at the time, right? And we talked about how that might be received in the locker room and how his conversations would be when they returned. How do you look at it now with the benefit of hindsight?
I mean, I think you go and do these press hits, you're going to get asked things, and you're going to have to answer. You can't just say, I'm going to pass on that. So I understand where Josh was coming from. To act as if it wasn't a big deal, those guys are obviously, their feelings were a little bit hurt, but I think Josh is at the point where, from a leadership standpoint, he's been a captain. I think last year, I don't remember if he was a captain in the playoffs. You'd have to help me out on that. But leadership is hard, as we discussed yesterday. You're going to say some things. I do wonder how it would go from Josh's end if one of those wide receivers would say, I think running back, Josh had a really good season, but he doesn't like running out of under center, and our play action game is better, so we need to find a running back that will do that. Or we need to have a running back that's more explosive that will take 20 and 30-yard runs and turn them into 60 and 70-yard touchdowns, which, by the way, Josh has said that's something he wants to get better at. Would he find that criticism the same way than when he was giving it out? And right. I know he's older, but I don't think he would probably be that excited about having Jaden Reed or anyone else criticizing and critiquing him. So there is a pecking order. There always is. And I think you can spit it and say, yeah, I wanted to light a fire under these guys because I believe in them. That's the right approach. Mm-hmm. And I think Josh Jacobs is showing really good leadership in saying some hard things and doing it. But I always wonder when that is the case, how is it if that shoe is put on the other foot? So, if it's flipped. And maybe Josh would be fine with it. I don't know. I would bet that there'd be a little more sensitivity if that was indeed the case.
Let me do a quick hypothetical, because you would never say something to the media that you regretted saying as a player.
No, in fairness, I'm sure there were times when you're going around doing these media appearances or you have it tied in with a softball game or whatever it was. People would ask you what positions you need to draft. And I can remember I probably said, we need to get this. And you don't even think about it. It's just you're kind of just regurgitating because you don't really – it's like whatever. I just hope normally my go-to, I hope it's not an offensive lineman, but I hope whoever comes in is going to be a good player. You're going to say some of those things, but that was more pointed than I think maybe a lot of times other players had done.
All right, so just hypothetically, put yourself in Josh Jacobs' spot, and you said what he said, and put yourself in Jaden Reed's spot, and he was saying that about right tackle instead of wide receiver. Best way to move past this from each side for you as a player, putting yourself in each of those spots? Because it seems like they have.
Yeah, I think it depends where you're at in your career. If you're a young player, you do just what Jaden Reed said. I'm going to use that as fuel, and I'm going to basically show you that I'm the guy and that I can be that guy and that I'm going to be a huge part of our success moving forward. But there'll also be a part of you that's like, well, blank this guy. No, there's just going to be a part of it that's like, you can move past it. And, again, knowing the relationship that you have and understanding it matters. So I don't know Josh Jacobs' relationship. I would guess that their relationship was fine, but you saw their instant reaction. They did the Eleanor. They felt their feelings, and they moved on. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm hoping that this is a spark, and this is something that you can go back and basically say, Josh, shove it up your you-know-what. Thank you for the motivation. I needed it, and that bonds you together. That would be awesome, and I think that's the hope of how that whole scenario plays out.
And then you could take a beat, have a meal, and then toast a Coors Light and say, hey, here's to our friendship and here's to our new sheet of paper that we're reading about Coors Light.
Here's to us winning a championship because I called you out. You know what? Whether you're tailgating, you're enjoying your experience during the game, or celebrating a big win after the game, and you just need a moment to chill. Crack open that Rocky Mountain cold Coors Light. Coors Light is brewed with that 3-step cold process, cold lager, cold filtered. And it is cold packaged, so it is made to chill. Make sure those mountains are blue. Yesterday, I had one after the round. It was a hot day, kind of sticky. They're nothing better. A 16-ounce silver bullet. The mountains were baby blue. That's when I knew it was chilled to perfection. That's what I had. Celebrate responsibly, Coors Brewing Company. Golden, Colorado.
Josh Jacobs also talked about urgency, which has been a big buzzword, thanks to what Brian Gutekunst said after the season ended. We'll hear what Josh Jacobs had to say next. It's Wilde And Tausch.
Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app. Customizable just to you. Find the ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores today. Rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute is brought to you by Steinhoffels. Their Memorial Day sale has been extended. Last chance to save 10% off store-wide and take advantage of Steinhoffels' 18-month 0% financing only at Steinhoffels. Among the Badger greats, basketball legend Frank Kaminsky, one of the next 12 to enter the UW Athletics Hall of Fame, the 2015 National Player of the Year, on what the honor means.
It means the culmination of my career here as a Badger, and just kind of like a reminder of how special it was. And you like to see your hard work and all that stuff pay off, and to be honored in this way to go into the Athletic Hall of Fame, it's extremely special.
Celebrate Kaminsky's achievement and much more at the Made 'em Believe event June 26th. More info at uwhoops2015.com.
What a beautiful day to have new windows and doors installed.
Pella has a product line for every budget.
No interest and no payments for up to 2 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
The ESPN Madison Open presented by Coors Light is back. On Monday, August 4th, the ESPN Madison crew is packing their bags and teeing off at TPC, Wisconsin for a day on the links. This year's Open is benefiting Mentoring Positives, a nonprofit based right here in Madison dedicated to uplifting youth and families through mentoring, athletics, and youth entrepreneurship. ESPN Madison Open also brought to you by Badgerland Exteriors, Annex Wealth Management, Sunday Paper, Incredible Bank, Borikov Osman LLC, and Retirement Income Strategies.
Metro Ford of Madison is Madison's trusted Ford dealership. Whether you're in the market for a new or new-to-you vehicle, Metro Ford of Madison has the customer service that's second to none. Metro Ford is also the home of the 2 years no-charge maintenance offer on new vehicle purchases, making it the place to go for the new Ford of your dreams. Browse their inventory, schedule a service, or see this month's offers at metrofordofmadison.com. That's metrofordofmadison.com.
Starion Bank redefines local banking in Madison. As a community bank with a commitment to Dane County, experience a banking relationship where your goals are our priority. Enjoy competitive deposit and loan rates and a partnership that thrives on local engagement and support. Starion Bank is more than a full-service financial institution. It's a community pillar dedicated to your prosperity. Visit one of our convenient branches in Middleton, Monona, or Sun Prairie. Starion Bank, offering banking, lending, mortgage, and cash management.
After a storm, even seemingly small damage can lead to major problems. If your roof or siding took a hit with this recent storm, your insurance may cover the damage, but the process is still a nightmare. Badgerland Exteriors makes it seamless. They'll guide you through every step and get your family's home back in tip-top shape just as fast as that storm ripped through.
Contracting made easy is more than a tagline. It's how we run our family business. Visit BadgerlandExteriors.com to get started on your next project. That's BadgerlandExteriors.com.
This update sponsored by UW Credit Union. For every stage of life, UW Credit Union is here for every you. Fans, here's the Quick Trip to the Ballpark ticket offer. Spend $200 at participating Quick Trip locations and get a free Terrace Reserve ticket to a 2025 Milwaukee Brewers home game. Check brewers.com/quicktrip for more details. Join UW Credit Union at uwcu.org. Insured by NCUA.
Mark Tauscher here to tell you a little bit more about Everlight Solar. We all know that electricity costs are on the rise. That's why you need to talk to my friends over at Everlight Solar. Their local team here in Madison is here to keep it simple. From your no-cost consultation to solar panel installation, the team at Everlight Solar will be with you every step of the way. Not only will they help you save money, but by switching to solar, you're also helping save the planet. Everlight Solar, a proud partner of Wisconsin Athletics. Check them out at everlightsolar.com.
This is our crew.
First pitch to Jackson Churio. Driven left center. See you later.
Hear the sound of summer right here on 100.5 ESPN, Madison's home for Milwaukee Brewers baseball.
I'm going to head to OTA practice momentarily. That kicks off at 11:25, so I will rejoin you and Hunter and Tausch. Then, in the meantime, I did want to get to this because it has been a buzzword throughout the offseason after Goody said it. And, you know, we talked with Josh Jacobs about a lot of things, but the word urgency did come up when we talked to Josh Jacobs, and here is how that part of the conversation went.
Jordan just got done saying, I'd asked him what he needs to do better, and he said, look, we're here to win a Super Bowl. I know you're 2 OTAs in, but can you feel that vibe in the room, and can you see kind of the seeds of a team that's capable?
You feel the urgency for sure. You feel the urgency. You feel a lot of the younger guys growing up. You could definitely feel them coming into their own. You can, like I said, you feel the urgency, the way that the guys are going about practicing and the details and the way that they on top of everything. Like we've been, like I said, Jordan talks a lot more in the meeting. He asks guys questions and guys' answers and how detailed their answers into what they're doing lets me know that like everybody locked in. Like it's time, you know. And for me, I'm getting, you know, it's only so much left, so it's definitely time for sure.
I love the fact that he is thinking about his own football mortality and how much longer he has to play. He's played in, I think, 2 playoff games in his career, so he's obviously hungry. I did not use the word urgency. He brought it up. You always talk about if you're hearing a lot of guys say the same stuff, it means your messaging has gotten through. I don't think it's just Goody. I'm guessing it's LaFleur as well. But is that the case here? Is that a good sign that guys understand the quote-unquote urgency of this season?
I was shocked that when you asked that question that you didn't get an answer of, no, it's not urgent. We're just chilling. No, we're just kind of hanging out.
I didn't ask urgency. I asked him about the vibe.
Nah, but you listen, I think, is what I heard there good? Absolutely. I was laughing as you finished asking the question, thinking, what do you expect him to answer here? I would actually love it if somebody's like, no, man, it's kind of been slacking, man. We've been kind of lazy.
We need to get our blank together.
Around.
Yeah,
but
hey,
I love.
There's
two things. There's 2 things that I liked about that answer. The first part is, you mentioned it already, bringing up urgency. You can bet donuts to dollars that has been talked about and regurgitated, and that has been, I'm guessing, will be a theme of the season. You better be urgent, and it's not about, Detroit. It's about urgency with details and getting it. But the other part of it, and this is where, we're talking to, Jordan Love and leadership and all that stuff that we've been blathering about the last, couple shows, when you hear him say examples without you asking, Matt Jordan's doing this, and guys are answering in great detail. Mm-hmm. Jordan is taking that ownership on and calling out and questioning and asking what you guys are doing on these certain plays. That is what I'm excited about. Those are the things, because you can give canned answers. Oh, man, yeah, it's been this. When you get interesting answers like that and get the details of it, is that going to help you win? Yes, those things will help you win. Is every team saying all of this right now in their OTAs and meetings with their reporters? My guess is yes. Does that mean every team is as bought in and is speaking that same language that their coaches are saying? No. There's plenty of teams that are probably sitting there saying, well, we're still trying to figure things out. You heard a little bit of that with Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson down at Chicago.
Right.
But I loved the detail of answer that Josh Jacobs gave him, even though I thought the question was, But, again, as you always say, it ain't about the question. It's about the answer, and you got interesting information out of the answer. Josh, do you like what Titletown has done? Do you like how they've built this up? No, I thought that the architecture on this field here is people are going to say what they're going to say. You get what I'm saying?
I don't know if Titletown architecture is a good example, but hey, you gave it a shot. All right, I got to go. Tausch and Hunter are
Check
going
out
to...
that architecture.
I will keep an eye on that as I drive into the parking lot. Tausch and Hunter are going to do a little Where's Wildy? The answer will be driving to Lambeau Field. And then they're going to play some trivia, and I will rejoin them when practice starts at OTAs at 11:25. I'm out of here. More Wildy and Tausch, though, straight ahead. Stick around.
Don't go anywhere. Another hour of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, is coming up next on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Looking to join an international quality golf club right here in Madison? Discover TPC Wisconsin, an instant classic in the heart of the Midwest. With a course co-designed by Steve Stricker and PGA Tour Designs, it's the 13th and newest TPC Network golf club in the world. Other high-quality amenities include a short game practice area, athletic performance center, and meeting and dining facilities, plus membership benefits that reach around the globe. Schedule a tour at tpcwisconsin.com and start your journey to a lifetime of priceless golf.
This is Derek Engler. You're listening to a Good Karma Brands radio station, 100.5 ESPN WTLX Monona, Madison.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
What is up, Madison? I'm Hunter Vaughn. Your SportsCenter update is brought to you by the new ESPN Wisconsin app. Listen live and on demand to all of your favorite ESPN Wisconsin shows at the touch of a fingertip. Your state, your teams, your ESPN. Download the all-new ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple and Android app stores today. Christian Yelich and the Milwaukee Brewers are white hot. The Brewers have won 8 games in a row, and Christian Yelich was just named the NL Player of the Week for his performance last week. After returning to the lineup last night, he extended his hitting streak to 9 games with a bomb of epic proportions.
3-2 to Yelich. Breaking ball hammered deep into center field. Friedel's going back, turning at the warning track, watching it sail at the wall. It's way out of here. Man, Christian Yelich just keeps on doing it. That was a bomb of epic proportions off the batter's eye in center field in Cincinnati.
The Brew Crew is back in action tonight off of that 3-2 win over the Reds, taking on the same Reds. Coverage starts at 5:34, first pitch at 6:10, right here on 100.5 ESPN.
Metro Kia of Madison, Madison's trusted Kia dealer. Stop into Metro Kia on the east side of Madison or metrokiaofmadison.com.
Welcome back into the 11 o'clock hour. We're actually on time. We're on time because we got to send our boy Jason Wilde off to, I think this is the last, one more media availability to get us a little glimpse of what this 2025 Packer football team is going to look like. So he's heading over. He will be joining us, I think, from the sidelines in a little bit. We're going to do trivia, but we talked about doing this yesterday, Hunter. And before we get into Where's Wilde, am I crazy to think that with all that's happened this offseason, Packers have, they lost Josh Myers. I would think when you look at the draft and what they've done, paying Banks and bringing in Hobbs, we should be better. Is it crazy for me to say Green Bay should be the favorite to win the NFC North right now?
Until after that week 1 game. Then I think you can have that conversation, because there's a real chance that Detroit just doesn't skip a beat, even with losing their offensive coordinator, their defensive coordinator, their center. Like, they could still continue to just be the team that they've been. And if they go in and they beat Green Bay and it looks like, oh, okay, Detroit's still the same Detroit Lions they've been these last few seasons, then it's Detroit's division to lose. But I have to wait until we actually see what the Lions are, because it is neck and neck between those two. Minnesota will take a step back. They've got a rookie QB. They're not going to be consistently as good as what they've been offensively.
So I would argue this. When you're a Green Bay Packer, there are teams. Philadelphia, kudos to them, world champs. Saquon's on the cover of Madden. Philly is the defending champions. I'm not putting Green Bay in the same stratosphere at this point with them. But I can't, as a former player and as a fan, look at what's happened this offseason, look at what we've done, looking at it from we are playing a team with new coordinators without their center at our place. And if you're going to bank it, I actually think the urgency level, and we're hearing urgency, Josh Jacobs, everybody's talking urgency. Game 1 is urgent then. I don't disagree. If Detroit comes in here and just rattles us around, I don't know how we can all look. Yeah, there's 16 more games and there'll be some growth and all. Yep, I get it. But if we don't beat Detroit that game, we haven't beaten them since Thanksgiving last year, 2 years ago now, I guess. I can understand your statement, but I'm saying when I factor everything in, and if this team wants to do something special, which they do, they need to be looked at as we don't need it right now, but I'm looking at it saying if we don't win the division this year, we're not progressing the way we need to as a football team and as an organization.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Like, the next step is, okay, go out there, win the division, because then you get that home playoff game. You're in a much better spot then for everything if you win that division. I don't get why it's all of a sudden, like we were just talking about yesterday on the show, about how, centers aren't really valued on the rest of the O-line, but then all of a sudden Detroit loses their center, and now it's like, oh my gosh, they've just lost this huge key piece to their offense. Like, if teams don't value the center the way that we were saying they don't yesterday, then why is it such a big loss for Detroit to lose their center?
Well, I'm going to tell you this. I don't know what show you were listening to yesterday. I said that maybe the league doesn't value it financially, but that is the most important spot on the field from the O-line standpoint, because you can't function if you don't snap the ball. You have to have somebody that is smart as a whip, that gets the protections right, helps your center, your quarterback out. But Jason asked me, well, why does the center get paid the least amount? And the answer is because typically you don't have to win one-on-one pass blocking. That is the reason. And some guys, Jason Kelsey's made a bunch of money. You're going to see Ragnow, who just retired, he was one of the top 3 or 4 centers. That middle part of your O-line has to be strong with the center. Your guards need to be good too, but the center needs to be the spot. I understood the economics of it, but I have never said, and that's why this Elton Jenkins scenario is going to be fascinating to watch, because Green Bay is putting its eggs in the basket of Elton Jenkins taking over and running that center spot at a high level, along with their new left guard and along with Sean Ryan. That group needs to be good. And if you remember, Detroit, I would say this kid is one of the guys that changed the culture with Dan Campbell. His toughness and what he's been, you can see clips. Obviously, they did a little, some clips on Twitter yesterday of he busts his ankle up, finishes that game. That attitude and effort and what he brought to this team, that follows and trickles through the rest of your locker room. And it's that and the part, who is the replacement for him going to be? There's a lot of questions for a team that needs that play action and they want to get Gibbs going. You can all of a sudden start picking at the interior part of that line. Your running game and all that play action that Goff is so good at isn't going to be as effective. And you factor in that their offensive coordinator ain't there. All of a sudden, I'm not looking at it like, well, Detroit's in a better position than Green Bay. With everything said, I think Green Bay should be the favorite in the NFC North. And I was not, and it's not just this, but this was the tip of the iceberg that moved it along with some of the other things that have happened in Detroit.
Yeah, I just feel like I think they're both equal now, because I think there's plenty of question marks still for the Packers. Like we've been talking about this wide receiver room, like what actually happens here? Is Golden going to step in and make an impact? Is Jaden Reed going to take another step and be more consistent and be that main guy for the team? And with that, there's still enough questions where I'm like, I think they're both equal then, as far as Detroit and Green Bay. Because it's, again, like, until I see the Lions not actually perform, I can't say that, oh, yeah, they're going to definitely take a full step back. This could all of a sudden be what we start talking about Dan Campbell as being the best coach in the NFL, and in the conversation with Andy Reid, if the Lions all of a sudden go out there and keep performing well with everything that they've lost. If he goes out there and has a masterclass as a coach and puts together still a great team, then the narrative completely changes, and it's like, okay, Matt LaFleur's got to keep playing catch-up to Dan Campbell.
Yeah, there's just too many subtractions, and I think when you look at Green Bay, there were no subtractions. What is the subtractions? Detroit had they lost a lot of water out of their pool. They're no longer, I don't even know if they can dive. I think it has now become a wading pool. That's how much water they've lost. Green Bay, on the other hand, was a wading pool, and I think you could say they've added a bunch of gallons of water. Now, whether or not it's enough to jump in and you're going to feel good about it, those are questions that still have to be answered. But I'll promise you this, the water levels where it was, Detroit was dive in, have a party, enjoy the day. They now are going to have to be a heck of a lot more cautious with their pool party in comparison to Green Bay. I think Green Bay can now say, all right, let's go. Let's get it rolling. And Green Bay should, with their additions and with the subtractions, both with Minnesota and with Detroit, if we're not the favorite now, when are we going to be?
I think Green Bay's pool is plenty full. I think Green Bay's water is a little murky looking. It's a little questionable. It's like you walk up to the pool and you're like, oh, do I really want to go in there? Do I have any open wounds that I could all of a sudden get a staph infection from this? That's how I feel about the Packers pool.
Okay, well, I didn't think we'd bring staph infections.
Well, I'm just saying, like, for your analogy,
I get
like,
it. It's
you're
not
the king
bad.
of analogies. Like, that's how I feel about the water. It's a little gross looking, but it's enough for, like, yeah, I could jump in here, but I still have plenty of questions about what this water is.
Whose water's murkier? Who's got more question marks as we sit here when we're going to kick off in September 7th? Which team is going to have more questions?
It's the Lions. I think it.
Okay.
I want to say the Packers, but I'm trying to take away the fact that, like, this is the team we talk about all the time. So it's the Lions just because the leadership in that team is gone.
And I do think if Detroit comes in here and smacks us around and is more physical and beats us up, I think that will send ripples through that pool. And all of a sudden that water is going to get so murky you ain't even going to want to dip your toes in it until you find a way out of it. So this game, I think, just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And by the time we get to September, I think it is going to be such a statement game. I cannot wait to do it. But before we do that, let's get to some of this Where's Wilde audio that we were going to play yesterday. Jason's going to be joining us from the sidelines here after we do trivia. But before we do that, Hunter, what have you got? Let's fire up the old Where's Wilde and play a little game here before we do it.
Since he often saves his best material for other shows,
If there's something difficult we need to talk about, let's have the conversation.
we're bringing the other shows to us.
I would be very leery if I was a Packers fan.
Or are we?
House takes a lot of days, man.
It's time to play Where's Wilde?
All right, we're going to start off with an impersonation that Wilde did.
You know, this is really something because Jesse really prides himself on being like our version of Frank Caliendo, which, by the way, he most definitely is not. He's not that good. But today, perfect opportunity for him to do a Terry Bradshaw. Like he claims he does a Mark Tauscher. Mark Tauscher here. And then when we need a Terry Bradshaw imitation, he foists it upon me. And I didn't sound anything like Terry Bradshaw. That was pathetic.
Where's Wilde?
I think he's with Wally and the boys down in Beaver Dam there. That's what that sounds like because I think he's playing in. Jesse's a big star down at Beaver Dam. He is. I don't know if he's in the Hall of Fame down there. I know in his mind he is. I think he's playing to Wally and the boys. That's where I think that's where I think Wilde is in this point.
You're correct. That was from the Damn Sports Show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nicely done. Yeah. Corey and Wally are great. They are also incredible hype men. I feel great after my appearances on there. I do Thursdays at 4:15 with those boys, and I feel so fired up after every appearance I do with them.
I'll tell you what, they bring a ton of energy, and I love the fact that Wally's out there doing stuff in the community. He's bowling. I'm sure he was up at the golf outing. He's doing all that good stuff. But Jason, you find out about Jason, he doesn't want to do something he doesn't want to do. And when you force and push, he actually ends up getting very ornery. Some days I love that, and that's why I keep pushing. All right, what's next?
Up next, a little bit of Jair conversation.
This really comes down to money and respect. This is a guy with a $16.15 million base salary that if his contract remained untouched and he was still on the roster, he would be guaranteed that salary after being on the roster for the opening week. What I would presume to be the stumbling block here is the fact that if Jair Alexander feels like that's either not enough money financially or disrespectful, the amount that it is that would be in weekly roster bonus money. Maybe there's part of them that's like, if I get roughly the same amount and I get a fresh start somewhere else, maybe that's better.
Where's Wilde?
That sounds like a Homer Hour conversation.
You're 2 for 2. This is uncanny. Either Jesse did a bad job or you've been listening to a lot of the content the last week or so.
Well, I think we can assure it's Jesse's done a bad job. That is
the
Jair piece to this. It is crazy how much conversation and oxygen the Jair story has taken, and we've seen reports. What I hope happens, the mandatory minicamps next week. Show up. Just come show up. And force Green Bay to release you or to let's get this thing hashed out, because I don't know where they're at in the process. I know Xavier McKinney has been talking with him, and I think we've seen his teammates really like him. Otherwise, you don't go to bat and hear the things that you say. You can easily just kind of be mealy-mouthed and not say a ton. You can just be done with it. They want to have Jair back. And I think what Jason is saying there with Homer is there's a money thing that's going to be at issue. Jair has no leverage here. The only thing Jair can do to speed this process up, and maybe he just doesn't want to be at minicamps and he'll be fine coming in July, which if that is the case, okay, great. That's what it is. But at some point, something has to get figured out. And it's not so much for Jair. I want to see from a Packers standpoint, what's it going to look like if he is back? Who's going to play where? Where is Jair fitting this? And as you're letting these other guys take reps and Hafley's figuring it out, you have a lot of guys in that back end, especially at the, whether it's Nixon or you have your safeties. Where's Bullard going to play? There's a lot of question marks about where guys are going to fit. You don't want to sit there and not have all your puzzle pieces there until mid-August. Whatever this thing shakes out, at some point let's get to a resolution. I want Jair to report, and I want to force the Packers' hand, and I want to have Jair's hand, put it on the table, and let's get to business here and figure it out one way or the other so we can move on and look forward to training camp with who we're going to have available to us on the roster.
Yeah, it just feels like the Packers just do something. Like, I'm kind of tired, and I know the fans are too, of the constant, like, well, there's this report, and we don't know, and, like, yeah, it would make sense if he's back, but they could just get rid of him. Like, let's just do something. Like, action is better than nothing.
That's not always the case, Hunter, but in this case, I think you need to have an action to spur a reaction in order to get some conclusivity to this scenario.
Yeah.
I think that's what happens. And right now, I don't know. There are no deadlines. There's nothing that is saying we have to do this. Jair can kind of kickstart that by showing up because, as we've said numerous times on this show and on many of the other shows Jason's on, at some point you're not letting him in that building with a $16 million base salary. That needs to get reworked. They've already started that conversation. My guess is Green Bay is giving him a big old haircut, and I think Jair doesn't want to take that big of a cut. It's more of let's come to some kind of common ground, and if you can't find common ground, then let's move it along and be done with it. I'm going to stick with this 2 for 2. I like having some perfection in that. We're gonna move it along.
You're going to retire? You're not going to try and go for 3
Well, it's
for
11-18.
I know.
Hey, oh boy, it's 11-18. I rave about clock management. I am a big proponent. If there's one thing I would go and do right now, I could be a great clock management guy for an NFL team or for a college team. I know when you should use timeouts. I want to be aggressive. I want to get to trivia because I don't know if we have our Vortex Big voice guy back, but I know we have a great gift pack from Vortex, and we have a great trivia opportunity for you to win that package. And we're going to go with caller 8 because of the Brewers' 8-game winning streak, and with Yelly hitting another bomb last night. Caller 8, you have to send out the number and do all that because I don't have that available. Caller 8, go ahead, Hunter.
844-770-3776.
3776. Okay, I did remember that. That is pounded a minute. So 844-770-3776. We're looking for caller 8. Caller 8, what is the category today in case some people want to back out? Is it Badger trivia?
It is not. It is U.S. President trivia.
Oh, did you do it?
I didn't. Jesse did this one for me.
Oh, he did it in the jury room, sending it out. Very interesting. All right, caller 8, you could be next. Call in 844-770-3776. We will do that next. It's Wilde And Tausch.
This is Wilde And Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Call Gina Della from Pella today, 855-PELLA-WI, and online at PellaWI.com/radio.
Mark Tusher here for Chalmers Jewelers. I've been a big fan of Scott, Garrett, and the whole team at Chalmers Jewelers for years now. I go there, my friends go there, and most importantly, my wife loves it whenever I get her something from Chalmers Jewelers. It's my go-to spot for birthdays, anniversaries, and any special occasion. For quality jewelry and a great experience, choose Chalmers Jewelers, the place to go for that perfect gift. Stop at Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton and Madison.
Chalmers Jewelers in Middleton
and Madison.
All day, every day, the Carbless Talk and Text line is open for you. 844-770-3776. The Carbless Talk and Text line. This is more.
To those who've ever dreamt of their perfect event, those dreams are worthy and they are possible. Hi, it's Jeffrey from Celebrations Entertainment. With hard work, passion, and great music, we will make your event dreams a reality. Every event is a labor of love, with one-on-one planning, customization, and flawless execution. Bringing your event to life is what we do. For a fun, memorable event, visit celebrationsentertainment.com. That's celebrationsentertainment.com.
Welcome to the Chevy Lightning Round. Guess the clues to win. First team, you're up.
Powerful, commanding, unstoppable.
Silverado.
Adventurous, fun, techie.
Trailblazer.
Stylish, nimble.
Trax.
Innovative, electric.
Blazer EV. Lightning Round champions. You've guessed all the right Chevy clues.
Wherever the year takes you, explore it together in the Chevy of your choice. See your Badgerland Chevy dealer today.
Brew Crew Tuesdays are back on June 17th.
Churio sends it deep to left, and there she goes!
Catch the Brewers on local TV as they battle the Chicago Cubs.
And Yelich launches one deep right center field. Forget about it. Oh, my goodness.
This edition of Brew Crew Tuesdays is presented by Delta Dental of Wisconsin. Tune in June 17th at 7:05 on WISC TV in Madison, or check your local listings to watch the game. The 2015 Wisconsin men's hoops team gave us all a march to remember.
There will be no undefeated champion on Wisconsin with an unbelievable stretch drive to the championship game.
On June 26th, enjoy an intimate celebration with the stars of the run with Made 'em Believe. Presented by M3 Insurance. World-class expertise and individual attention. Tickets are on sale now at uwhoops2015.com. Made 'em Believe, June 26th at the Orpheum Theater in Madison.
GRB Academy is baseball for the serious player. Over the past 15 years, GRB has been Wisconsin's top destination for player development and advancement, including over 468 college commitments and 27 MLB draft picks. Their facility in Windsor is the home of GRB Rays baseball and features over 52,000 square feet of elite baseball training. Tryouts for the 2026 summer season begin July 22nd. Find full training programs and register now at grbacademy.com.
Bo here from Ridgetop Exteriors. Southern Wisconsin got hit hard with hail recently. If your home took a beating, now's the time to take action. We've been delivering top quality roofing, siding, and window services locally for over 23 years. With free damage assessments and insurance experts on staff, we've been your licensed, local, and trusted contractor since day one. Don't wait until small damage becomes a big problem. Turn to Ridgetop Exteriors today. RidgetopExteriors.com. That's RidgetopExteriors.com.
Ridgetop Exteriors.
When you've been injured, you need a winning team on your side. Gruber Law Offices will fight for the results you deserve. Call Gruber Law Offices today, a proud partner of your Milwaukee Brewers. One call, that's all.
Wilde And Tausch on 100.5 ESPN is brought to you by Everlight Solar. Save money, save the planet. Everlight Solar.
He's got a Chevrolet that don't always run, and the radio never turns down. He's got a
outstanding clock management from the great Mark Tauscher, who went 2 for 2 on Where's Wilde. Made some great points as I was driving to Lambeau Field on Jair Alexander's situation, and accurately depicted but I don't like being told what to do. Got them all right. Hopefully, Sparky in Sussex gets all the questions right in trivia. Trivia brought to you by Vortex Golf. Rangefinders you can bet on. Let's welcome in our contestant. It is Sparky in Sussex. Sparky, good morning, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing today?
We got music playing inside the Hudson Center. Can't beat that. Sparky, the category, which I didn't hear when I was driving, is U.S. presidents. Tausch, are you participating in these, or am I asking them all?
Why don't you take 1 and 3, and I'll take 2? How's that?
Sounds great. All right, Sparky, question number 1 from, well, theoretically Hunter, but we know it was actually Jesse who wrote these. Is this: the real ones already know the answer to this one. Which U.S. president is the only one to serve as both president and vice president without officially being elected to either office? Is it Gerald Ford, Richard Milhouse Nixon, or Dwight D. Falt Eisenhower?
That would be Gerald Ford.
1 for 1.
The GOAT.
Sitting on Hunter's desk. Tausch, you got question 2.
All right, Sparky. Although he served as a lawyer and state legislator in Illinois for much of his adult life, Abraham Lincoln was actually born and raised in which U.S. state? Is it Pennsylvania, Georgia, or Kentucky?
I believe it was Kentucky.
You would be correct.
Oh, the Sparkster, 2 for 2. All right, let's make it a clean sweep. Here's question 3 in U.S. presidents. Which of these founding fathers and former U.S. presidents did not die on July 4th, 1826? So apparently 2 of these 3 men died on the 4th of July, as opposed to being born on the 4th of July, like Tom Cruise. Which of these did not die on July 4th, 1826? Thank you. Is it George Washington, John Adams, or Thomas Jefferson?
Oh, boy. It's just a guess, Jefferson.
Thomas Jefferson did indeed die on July 4th, 1826, and so did John Adams. The correct answer is George Washington. Sparky, you got 2 out of 3. That means you got 3 of the possible 4 entries into our drawing on Friday for the Vortex Golf prize pack and, of course, the rangefinders you can bet on. Thanks for playing, buddy. We appreciate you.
Hey, guys. Thanks. Love you a lot.
I love you guys.
Sparky with 3 entries. We love Sparky. Packers getting ready. They are stretching now. We got about 11 minutes left in the stretch period. Then we'll be outside for the final segment of the show.
I was going to say, is it raining up there? I know big storm's coming tonight, but
it is not. So they stretch inside, and they do, I don't remember specifically about your time playing there, old boy, but their calisthenics and stretching and warm-up is much more extensive now. They're hoping that more means fewer injuries. Do you feel like that is something that has evolved in the NFL? Because I still think luck has a lot to do with whether you have major injury issues or not, as much as you want to do everything you can, like Footbath Friday under Mike McCarthy once upon a time.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was a movement really by the middle part of my career where yoga and massage and stretching, and we started doing movement prep where we would do the same movements to warm up, get your body revved up a little bit more than just static stretching. So I think that is only going to continue to evolve. And I don't know if the injury bug, the pulls and all that stuff, is it a lot less with this new formula? I know, Pat. That's just been a rite of passage. I know this. It's better now than when they used to have us have 5 weeks off. We'd report, and we would have to run and pass a gasser test, which is down, back, the width-wise of a football field, which is 53.3. So it ends up being, 200 and, I don't know, you do the math on it, 220 yards. You do that 4 times, and you'd be basically just fried by the time you're done. Didn't matter how much you ran it. And then you'd go do a double day the next 3 days, and you had hamstring pulls, and you're probably like, well, yeah, no blank. You just had us do this. Our muscles are fatigued, and now you're going to put us through 3 straight days of double days. You're probably going to end up pulling some muscles. So we've gotten a lot smarter in that regard.
Well, right now they're playing catch with some big medicine balls. They've got these, they look like bright green logs with handles on them that they put on their backs, and they're doing some lunges with them. So that is the workout that they're currently engaging in. They've got some more calisthenics to do for the next 8 minutes, and then we'll head outside for the start of practice, and we'll be there on Wilde And Tausch. We'll get to Whoa Hunter, but also updates from practice next. So stick around. It's Wilde And Tausch.
This is Wilde And Tausch, driven by Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie on 100.5 ESPN. See their full inventory at ZimbrickChevrolet.com.
Mark Tauscher here for Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie, the name you can trust. Well, with the end of the postseasons for basketball and hockey now in sight, preparations for summer travel are ramping up. And whether that means weekend travel for sports around the state or big vacation plans driving around the country, make sure your vehicle is ready for every challenge by checking in with the fantastic service team at Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie. Tune-ups, battery checks, oil changes, and tire rotations are all part of the regular maintenance your vehicle may need to avoid any issues that could be road trip ruiners. A stop to see the service team at Zimbrick Chevy before you go means more focusing on things to see and places to eat, and less worrying about the inner workings of your vehicle. Call or click to schedule a service appointment before your summer road trip with the great team at Zimbrick Chevrolet in Sun Prairie. Check them out online at ZimbrickChevrolet.com. Zimbrick Chevrolet, the name you can trust.
Get ready for the ultimate Saturday night at Hard Rock Casino Rockford. Join us for the all-new Queen of Hearts drawing at 4, 6, 8, and 10 p.m. This is your chance for royal glory. When your name is drawn, choose the right card and you could win a life-changing jackpot, up to $150,000. The longer the Queen stays hidden, the bigger the jackpot grows. Let's Hard Rock with the Queen of Hearts only at Hard Rock Casino Rockford. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text ILGAMB to 833-234.
In the next 30 seconds, I'm going to tell you how to save money and save the planet. It's simple. Ditch your energy bill and make the switch over to Everlight Solar. While electricity prices keep rising, Everlight Solar will give you the chance to take ownership of your power while also reducing your carbon footprint. As a local company based out of Madison, they'll be there with you every step of the way as you make the switch to solar. To learn more about how you can save money and save the planet, go to everlightsolar.com.
Hi, this is Lee, inviting you to Ruth's Chris Steakhouse in Middleton. We got a great happy hour every day of the week from 4 o'clock to 7, and our patio during the summer is open too. If you're getting married, special occasion, a birthday, anniversary, or even a business meeting, we've got all the accommodations right here at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. You work hard and sometimes you're not sure what you want to do, where you want to spend your money. I want to encourage you to come into Ruth's Chris Steakhouse and say hello. It'd be a pleasure to meet you.
And now for the Pella play-by-play, here's Jeff Levering.
Thanks, Gina Della from Pella. What a beautiful day to have new windows and doors installed.
Every day is beautiful because Pella installs year-round during all seasons.
It's so hard to guess that next pitch. The customizations seem endless.
And it doesn't have to be super expensive. Pella has a product line for every budget.
And if it is time for a major upgrade, rest easy by scoring no interest and no payments for up to 2 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply on 6/30/2025.
Hi, I'm John Hayes of Goodman's Jewelers. It's hard to imagine, but Goodman's has been the diamond store of Madison since 1933, which means your parents, maybe even your grandparents might have shopped with us. We maintain the same high standards, honesty, and integrity that kept them coming back time and again. Keep their history and our history alive. Shop Goodman's Jewelers today in the heart of Madison at 220 State Street. We're online at goodmansjewelers.com.
The best is at Goodman's.
Tournament host Steve Stricker joins a star-studded group of PGA Tour champions at the American Family Insurance Championship. Catch the action June 6th through the 8th with an exciting team competition and a new tournament home at TPC, Wisconsin. This year's AmFam Champ concert features Megan Maroney with special guest Clint Black on Friday, June 6th at Bree Stevens Field. All proceeds support the Steve Stricker American Family Insurance Foundation and American Family Children's Hospital. Get your tickets today at amfamchampionship.com.
This is our crew.
Abreu's going back and watching it sail. It's a grand slam. Oh my goodness, Christian Yelich.
You're listening to Madison's new home for Milwaukee Brewers baseball, 100.5 ESPN.
Marshawn Lloyd looks like he is going to take part in today's practice. He did not take part in last week's Open to the Media OTA session. I don't see Elton Jenkins. I don't see Jair Alexander yet. Maybe I'm just missing them, but I will keep my eyes peeled. I do see Warren Brinson, who is still not taking part, but it looks like Kenny Clark might be returning to practice as well after not taking part last week. We'll keep an eye on that while we play Whoa Hunter.
If the topic is good, the guys discuss.
Just the other morning I had breakfast at Tracy Rocker's house. His mama brought out 15 flapjacks. He said, Mama, take back 5 of them flapjacks. I gotta stay hungry for the Crimson Tide.
But if it's not, the show must go on. It's time for
Whoa, Nelly!
On Wilde And Tausch.
All right, Tausch, at the start of this hour, you went 2 for 2 on Where's Wilde. You have a chance to go 3 for 3. So I'm going to play the last clip, and we're going to see if you can go 3 for 3 on a Where's Wilde.
Well, what if I choose? What if I pull a Seinfeld and say I choose
not to run? Yeah, I heard that on my drive over while he was saying that I don't like people. It sounds like somebody doesn't want to be told what to do.
This brings up an interesting question. So, at my niece's graduation party on Sunday, my younger brother, who is the brainchild of both headlines and did the video that you despised and didn't like and didn't support, he claims to be the king of Connect 4. So we get over to the house, and my older brother, gets a big Connect 4 board. You know, the big dog ones that you put them in, and it's like an outdoor yard game type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's playing like Max. He's smoking Max. He's talking smack. He's up. So I go out there and I play him.
And
I whoop him. Right away. And so then he's like, well, we got to go 2 out of 3. And I'm thinking to myself, Connect 4 it's a glorified game of tic-tac-toe. It's a little bit more complicated. If I don't play him again, am I a coward and I can walk out of there with a chip? Or do I have to play him again? Like, what's the proper etiquette?
Call you a coward?
Kinda. What is the etiquette there? Do I have to give him another game?
I don't think so, especially if he claims to be, the Gary Kasparov of Connect 4. You get a win.
Did.
You walk out of there with your victory, and let him just stew about the fact that despite his
Who's Gary
big talking,
Kasparov?
one of the greatest chess players in history.
Oh, okay.
Come on, Hunter.
So yeah, I think you did the right thing there.
No. I didn't tell you what I did. I'm asking you if this is how.
I think you would have done the right thing to walk out on your victory and let him stew in his competitive juices.
No, I'm a competitor, and I understood that and I had a look, but we didn't play a third game. We ended up just tying. He beat me late in the Connect 4 process. Thought I had him again, which would have just completely demoralized him. But we ended up pushing. We ended up being 1-1.
So you didn't even play a rubber match then if you're so competitive?
Well, at some point we had to leave. Everybody had to go home. So,
how long are these games?
I take a long time. No, I take a while to.
like cricket.
That was one of the things he was irritated about. I like to look through and process things. He just, he's a natural talent when it comes to that. I'm more of I got to grind it out.
So is it's the rule of like you hold on to the chip as long as you can
It's
before
the same
you
as chess.
let
Yes,
it go,
just like
yeah,
Kasparov.
and then they drop it in. Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Yep.
Okay.
Whoa, Nelly!
So in other words,
Was that
Tausch
was
is
that a
gonna run away.
filibuster?
Yeah.
No, if you were
No,
going
I don't
to
think
play
it
a
was a
second game
filibuster.
if you were playing a second game with him, why don't you want to take on the third Where's Wildy clip?
If I just said I have no problem taking it out, I wanted to bring some perspective into the thought process of where I was. So Hunter, bring it on. Let's go.
Okay, the third clip for Where's Wildy? Ken Tausch have a perfect game.
I think Matt LaFleur would say that they could use a couple of veterans. I don't think he wants a team full of veterans, but I would agree with your premise that he would like to have a few more. But I think this is more an isolated, very old player who LaFleur likes very, very much. I mean, I would love to know if Matt LaFleur, again, with beers on the table, would admit that Mercedes Lewis is his favorite player he's ever coached. Because I think he probably would be telling the truth if he actually said that.
Where's Wildy?
Oh, I'm going to say Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
This is unbelievable. You went 3 for 3.
Let's go. Let's go. We haven't talked about Mercedes Lewis. Mercedes Lewis has had a great career. Obviously, his time in Jacksonville, he was more of a down-the-field threat. But by all accounts, he was a great teammate, great leader, really good blocker. Was able to make some plays on those little bootlegs. But this whole concept with Kay Adams of coming back to Green Bay because he's buddies with Matt LaFleur, no, it's time. Like we don't, from our standpoint, I am already wondering how many reps we can get Musgrave. And I'm not even looking at Chipotle Ben. So it's got to be, we need more Tucker and more Musgrave. We don't need Mercedes around. I think it's, hopefully if he wants to play another year and somebody wants him, great, go get it, man. But I don't want it to be in Green Bay.
So that conversation, though, Tausch, was, I think, what Jen, Gabe, and Chewy were driving at. And then I think KBN asked about it, too. I think it was more about the fact that Matt LaFleur, in that interview, Mercedes talks about how Matt LaFleur wanted him back for another year, and that didn't happen. And I told a story about, Matt LaFleur getting a Mercedes Lewis jersey from his assistant coaches. That's kind of a gag gift because he liked him so much. And the conversation became, why doesn't Goody have much interest in what Matt LaFleur may or may not want? And, I wasn't thinking in those terms. I just thought, you could use a veteran or two to help guys as they make the transition. But no, I don't think anybody was suggesting they should re-sign Mercedes Lewis for this season. I don't think so anyway.
When you're done radio, it's ended.
Yeah.
Whoa, Nelly!
Okay, I've got one final one here. Came across this on Twitter, and I had to look it up during the show to make sure that I had these numbers correct. But I feel like we don't give Tony Gwynn enough respect for the ridiculous athlete that he was. So Tony Gwynn played...
Whoa.
I'm saying my generation doesn't.
A lot of respect on
I was
this
going to
show.
say, there is nobody that gives Tony Gwynn more respect.
I'm saying collectively, the current generation does not. Because I didn't realize in college at San Diego State playing basketball, he had 596 career assists.
Most
in his
assists ever.
20-year Major League Baseball career, he only struck out 434 times. So 4 years of college basketball had more assists than he did in 20 years of baseball for strikeouts. That's ridiculous. Dude needs to be in the conversation as one of the greatest athletes of all time.
Yeah, unfortunately, Hunter, when you have a belly, you're never going to get put in that conversation. It's the unfortunate part.
Disrespectful.
From a hitter standpoint, everybody we still use his tee work stuff with our baseball team, it's Tony Gwynn is a genius. You talk to Greg Maddux, he'll tell you Tony Gwynn was a absolute savant when it came to hitting the baseball. The fact that he was a great point guard and had led San Diego State in assists. Tony Gwynn is one of my goats when it comes to a guy that I emulated when I tried to play baseball. That was the guy for me. Tony Gwynn
Similar
is
left-handed
my joker
swing.
when it comes to basketball, baseball. Like, Tony Gwynn's my guy. There ain't anybody going to go to battle more for Tony Gwynn. Maybe his family, but I'm going to be close second.
Yeah, he was always number 2 on my list behind Robin Yount. I always loved watching him play, and they both wore number 19 for their respective teams, spent their entire careers with one team. So I am a Tony Gwynn fan as well. I'm surprised.
Jason, Tony Gwynn was the GOAT, man. You
What do
need
I
to do
need?
an article on Rasul Douglas. First off, has he signed with anybody yet?
Not to my knowledge.
I don't think that'd be a bad.
I think he
guy
was
to bring
visiting
back.
Seattle at one point, I believe, but I don't know if he signed there or
visiting
not.
and signing is a whole different story.
It's
But
true. They are.
he is telling me, he's telling Twitter, that when they lost that playoff game to San Francisco, which was a travesty, the one where they blocked the punt and just one of the all-time, it's just a bad loss playoff-wise.
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me he didn't leave the stadium? He slept there in his locker? You need to do an expose and get an article about that, because that is fascinating to me.
I've never heard that story. I'm not familiar with that story.
Rasul Douglas, and again, this could be an AI kangaroo bit, and it could just be, I don't know. But Jay Biggs says just sat in shock after the Lambeau game with this game, the San Fran game, and Rasul Douglas retweeted him, and he said, I didn't even leave the stadium until the next morning, just sat in my locker, too many emotions.
Yeah, it was pretty devastating. If he'd have been on the 2014 team, he would have stayed in Seattle and not taken the flight home?
Maybe.
What would he have done if he was on the 4th and 26 team?
You'd have to ask him. I don't know.
You went home, though, and you struggled to go to sleep. All right, that's it for Will Hunter.
Why does that bring you so much joy when you say
It doesn't bring me any joy.
I can tell you had a little blank grin on your face when you just did that.
You can't
Yeah,
even
there's a
see
blank
me.
grin on your face. But
Yeah,
I can
you
tell.
can't even see me.
I've been around you long enough. I know when
He
what
can
your
hear
facial
it.
reactions are. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I take no joy in that. I would have liked to have seen your team make it to the Super Bowl. It was a great story that year. It seemed like you were a team of destiny after Oakland and after Al Harris's pick 6 against the Seahawks, after Matt Hasselbeck's line about we want the ball and we're going to score. So I was definitely not rooting for a 4th and 26 meltdown like occurred. So no, I take no joy in that. What I do take joy in is that you've done a great job once again of managing the clock. So we'll have a few minutes to talk about the OTA practice that is underway here at Ray-Nitschke Field. We'll do that next. It's Wilde And Tausch.
This is our crew.
12 stolen bases on the air. There he goes. Pitches high. Throw to second. Is right on the back. They got him. Oh, wow.
You're listening to Madison's new home for Milwaukee Brewers baseball. 100.5 ESPN.
Mark Tauscher here for Pizza Hut, where Cheesy Bites Pizza is back right now. For just $13.99, you get a large pizza with 28 pullable, poppable, cheese-filled bites. And even better, it comes with the Ranch Lover's Flight, featuring 3 bold new dips: Ultimate Ranch, Chipotle Ranch, and Pepperoni Ranch. 1 large pizza, 3 dips, endless flavor. Hurry in or order online today at pizzahut.com. Only at Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
You, rah. Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin present your Badger Minute. Here's Pablo Iglesias.
This Badger Minute is brought to you by Bruner Realty, providing excellent real estate and property management services in the Madison area for over 30 years. Contact their team at BrunerRealtyInc.com to get housed today. Basketball legend Frank Kaminsky, one of the next 12 to enter the UW Athletics Hall of Fame, the 2015 National Player of the Year, on what the honor means.
It means the culmination of my career here as a Badger, and just kind of like a reminder of how special it was. And you like to see your hard work and all that stuff pay off, and to be honored in this way, to go into the Athletic Hall of Fame, it's extremely special.
Celebrate Kaminsky's achievement and much more at the Made 'em Believe event June 26th. More info at UWHoops2015.com.
What a beautiful day to have new windows and doors installed.
Pella has a product line for every budget.
No interest and no payments for up to 2 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
When it comes to security for your home and family, you want a winner, and we found one when we placed our trust with J&K Security Solutions. This is Greg Gard. Kim and Jeff hit the game-winning shot for us with the Control 4 home technology system. Home or away, from our smartphones, we can open the garage door, dim the lights, turn on the TV, as well as arm the security system. That's convenience as well as peace of mind. Let J&K Security Solutions do for your home or business like they've done for us. Call 255-5799 or online at jksecurity.com.
Ben Brust here to tell you about Zimbrick European. They're Mercedes, Audi, Porsche, and certified pre-owned. But the best part is I've been working with them since 2018, and the evolution has been a 2-door, a 4-door, and now it's time for an SUV. My life has changed, and it's changed with Zimbrick European. Being a dad has made it really important to have the comfort and the safety that the SUV will bring me. Again, Zimbrick European off the Beltline at Rimrock Road. Of course, I found the sexiest car on the lot. Check them out.
Siding Unlimited recently installed 20 brand new amazing energy efficient windows. Our Siding Unlimited crew removed the old windows, inspected the wall for wood rot, installed the new beautiful windows, and cleaned up behind ourselves. It was easy to get started. The homeowner met us at our amazing showroom on 2018 South Stoughton Road in Madison. Trust me, our showroom is a must-see. Looking for new windows, siding, roofing, and doors? Visit us at sidingunlimited.com or stop by our beautiful showroom in Madison.
If you're looking for a special piece of jewelry for any occasion, Condon Jewelers is always there for you. Condon Jewelers has the best selection of jewelry you'll ever find and guaranteed to have the lowest prices in the Madison area. Free shipping is always available. Visit CondonJeweler.com or call 241-3406 and ask for Jim, the owner, who's at the store every day. Shop locally. Condon Jewelers, the jeweler on the east side, the jeweler on your side.
Looking to join an international quality golf club right here in Madison? Discover TPC Wisconsin, an instant classic in the heart of the Midwest. With a course co-designed by Steve Stricker and PGA Tour Designs, it's the 13th and newest TPC Network golf club in the world. Other high-quality amenities include a short game practice area, athletic performance center, and meeting and dining facilities, plus membership benefits that reach around the globe. Schedule a tour at tpcwisconsin.com and start your journey to a lifetime of priceless golf.
We're on the Bucks.
In the landscape of today's NBA.
Because we're on Wisconsin sports.
Why would you be loyal to an organization? None of your peers are.
Madison's home of the Bucks. 100.5 ESPN.
Take my heart, don't break it. Love me to my bones. All this time I've wasted. You were right there all along.
We're in the heart of drill work at Packers OTA practice. A lot of Tausch, you could play 18 years in this league under this program, man. Everything's like half speed. The only time they go full speed 100% is during the 2-minute drill. Just throwing routes on air. Offensive linemen are working on their sets. God, you were born too early, buddy. Too early.
No,
pretty good way to live.
I should have been playing in the 60s.
Oh, well, like Nitschke and Jerry Kramer.
Yeah, I liked depriving myself. I have no problem with things being hard and difficult, and
that's true.
I actually think I would have functioned even better in the 60s, and it would have been great to be a part of the Lombardi era. Yeah, I get it, man. It's softer, it's easier, there's more money, and that would, I think, make a ton of sense for a lot of people. But if I had to, I don't know if I'd make it. I certainly they wouldn't let me play tackle in today's day and age. I'm not long enough, not tall enough. But I'll tell you this, I would have loved to have played in the 50s and the 60s. I think that era, sans the not getting enough water to drink, I think that era would have fit my personality probably better than anything now. This era doesn't fit where I'm at.
Smoking in the locker room after games, that'd have been good for you. So the offensive line they're by me, they're going through with the bags and they're, crashing into each other. I
the rumor is that we may talk to Zach Tom today. Maybe some of the defensive line, which obviously has been a talking point throughout the offseason of they changed the defensive line coach. They would like to see being able to get more pressure with their front fours so they're not always having to send extra rushers. But to me, I want to know what Zach Tom thinks about kind of his lot in life. What would be,
fun.
if you were to put some requests out for me, what would be on the hit parade for you as we get ready for post-practice conversations?
Well, I am going to be curious how, if you do get to talk to Zach, kind of the mentality. I think being the pro that he is, I think he'll handle it well, and he'll play the game the way it's meant to be played. But
he will. Mm-hmm.
I feel very confident that when he heard those things, and whether it was private or when the public stuff came out that his job is on the, I'm sure he's like, yeah, bring it on, man. He knows where he's at. He knows he's a really good player. And I think he understands that last year he had some lapses. He was also injured, and there's excuses and examples of what happened. But Zach Tom will be the right. It's just going to come back to whether or not he is going to get his big fat extension before that. I'll be shocked if that isn't how it plays out. But Rasheed Walker would also be fascinating. Both of those guys, along with Sean Ryan, that storyline to me is going to be the most interesting part of training camp. Backup quarterback is set. Jordan Love is set. I think Jair, at some point, this thing's going to get resolved. The offensive line and how that all shakes out, and especially the left tackle spot, to me is going to be the storyline to watch as training camp gets started.
And, of course, Chipotle Ben and what he's ready to do in year 3 in this offense, only because he's standing about 10 feet away from me. All right, we will see how today unfolds. I can confirm no Elton Jenkins, no Jair Alexander. So as you talked about during Where's Wilde while I was driving here, not forcing the issue yet. We will see if that issue gets forced next week. It has been reported that he plans on attending the mandatory minicamp. We'll see. We'll be looking for that next Tuesday when we're out here at practice. All right, that's it for us today. Thanks to Hunter for stepping in for the jurist once again as our cousin sub of the day. This has been Wilde and Tausch. Take care. Be good.
Miss any of today's episode of Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin? Commercial-free full show podcasts are available free on the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Play where the Badgers play and enjoy a round at University Ridge Golf Course, the official course of the University of Wisconsin. It's easy to see why University Ridge is consistently rated one of the best public courses in Wisconsin, winning awards every year since 1992. Whether it's a tournament, corporate event, or just a golf outing with family and friends, University Ridge Golf Course will make sure you have an enjoyable golf experience from start to finish. Book your tee time today at universityridge.com. That's universityridge.com.
Hi, this is Dave Kane. You're listening to Madison's Home of the Bucks, a good Karma brand radio station, 100.5 ESPN WTLX, Monona, Madison.
Broadcasting live from the Everlight Solar Studio, this is your Metro Kia of Madison Sports Center.
What is up, Madison? I'm Hunter Vaughn. Your Sports Center update is brought to you by Stoughton Health, providing experienced physicians, nurses, therapists, technicians, and staff for personalized, forward-thinking, expert health care. Stoughton Health, trusted care close to home. Christian Yelich and the Milwaukee Brewers are on fire. The Brew Crew have won 8 in a row, and yesterday Christian Yelich was named the NL Player of the Week for his performance last week. After returning to the lineup last night, he extended his hitting streak to 9 games with a home run of epic proportions.
3-2 to Yelich. Breaking ball hammered deep into center field. Friedel's going back, turning at the warning track, watching it sail at the wall. It's way out of here. Man, Christian Yelich just keeps on doing it. That was a